Chicagoland Speedway, Joliet, Illinois, on a beautiful 62-degree, I'll call it early fall afternoon, where race one in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is about to begin.
Now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Austin Mahone.
Drivers, start your engine!
Fire it up when you're ready.
Fired up and ready to go. 400 miles on this very fast mile-and-a-half track. 43 drivers, all looking for the race win, and 16 drivers looking to take the first step towards winning the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship, including our in-race reporter today, a man picked on many grids as being this year's champion, Kevin Harvick.
Harvick wins at Phoenix. Kevin Harvick takes the Bojangles Southern 500.
Awesome freaking job, guys.
Sweet Home Chicago blaring on the PA as the cars get ready to roll from the pit lane at Chicagoland Speedway for the first race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the myafibstory.com 400. Interesting little sidebar to the field of 16 getting ready to compete for this championship. 5 of the driver and crew chief combinations are in their first chase together. In fact, all 5 of those crew chiefs are in their first ever chase as a crew chief. 4th down on the list, Kevin Harvick there with crew chief Rodney Childers pictured. Our ESPN in-race reporters on the day, and Harvick getting ready to roll off from 12th on the grid, DJ.
Hey, Kevin, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Sir.
All right, Kevin. Hey, thanks for talking with us today, and we'll go right to our mailbag question that comes from Bryce in Charleston, South Carolina. In your opinion, is it smarter to roll the dice today and go all out for the win, or play it safe over the next 3 races and stay consistent to get through the round?
Yeah, I don't really think anything changes. I think if you're in position to win, obviously you want to win the race, but you know, you need 3 solid weeks, so it's kind of a balancing act as to what you do and what you don't do.
Hey, Kevin, I know that you were on the right side of somewhat of a strategy call yesterday to get yourself in position to win that nationwide race. My question to you is, today, how involved do you want to be in making decisions as far as 2 tires, 4 tires go, or are you going to leave that to your crew chief?
Well, I think you just try to give as much information as you can to be able to let them make the decision on pit road and listen on the radio as to what we do and when we do it. So you just try to be a source of information so that they can make the decision.
All right, Kevin. Hey, thanks for talking with us. Have a great day out there. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Rodney Childers.
Hey, Rodney, Andy Petrie up here in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Andy.
Hey, Rodney, getting that early win in the regular season allowed you to do some things in those first 26 races to free you up a little bit. But how does that change now that we get to this 3-race elimination as far as making calls from the pit box?
Well, I think things are a lot different this year. You know, with this format, you definitely got to be consistent, like Kevin was saying. And, you know, we want to go out there and win the race, of course, but we need to put together 3 really smooth races and be really consistent and, you know, try to move on to the next round.
How do you see the racetrack changing today? It's a little different weather condition than we had in practice, a little warmer. Is that going to change things?
Yeah, I mean, with the heat, it's definitely probably going to free up a little bit. We just got to see where our car is here in traffic and adjust on it as we go and try to make it better as the day goes.
Okay, sounds good, Rodney. Have a good day. I really appreciate you talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick getting ready to go from 12th starting position. All of our ESPN high-definition onboard cameras today ride with cars competing in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, including Brad Keselowski, #1 seed coming in as our Ford EcoBoost on board. You just heard from Kevin Harvick, who has our Jimmy John's camera. Matt Kenseth has the Toyota on board today, and Joey Logano's got the Shell Pennzoil camera.
Hey, if we can move the overhead sign out a little bit, probably be a good thing.
Little adjustment on the pit lane there from his crew. Jeff Gordon's got our Chevy on board. Kurt Busch is carrying the Sprint camera. Well, 6-time Jimmy Johnson has the Sunoco on board. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the Goodyear camera.
Big switches today. Got front tire fans. front tire fans, and the gear switch. Cancel.
A reminder and briefing from Steve Letarte to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And a reminder and briefing from me that you can check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy for enhanced race action today, live from here at Chicagoland Speedway.
So you got all your fans on? You ready to go, Alan?
I'm still looking for that one that powers my left front tire fan. All these gadgets in front of me and I can't find it. So here are the field of 16. And the seeding for the start. Remember, they got 3 bonus points per win in the first 26 races. So Brad Keselowski, the number 1 seed. But his lead over 16 seed Ryan Newman, who hasn't won yet this year, is still just 12 positions on the racetrack. So it's not much of a margin. It's some, might be important later, but it's not much of a margin to start the day. Let's get some stories from pit road as the cars work the second of the pace laps. Here's Vince Welch.
Well, as Jimmy Johnson embarks on his quest for a record-tying 7th championship, it's been 3 months since the 48 has been in victory lane. But few in the garage area believe that Johnson is anything but a championship contender, and he certainly looked the part here this weekend. Crew Chief Chad Knaus has given Jimmy a car with speed and balance, and even though Johnson has never won at Chicagoland, there are many expect that today will be the day. Jamie Little?
Well, after winning 3 races in the regular season, Jeff Gordon and this 24 team welcomed the chase with open arms. They truly believe that championship number 5 is in their near future. Now, I talked to Jeff, and he told me his biggest concern today is traffic, especially because it's warmer. He needs to get to the front early because clean air is king. Doc Punch?
As this chase begins, Junior Nation is pumped, and rightfully so. With 3 wins and 11 top 5 finishes, this is arguably the best year Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had in almost a decade. Folks, he is focused, he is hungry, he is committed, and he knows that his good friend and crew chief Stevie Letarte will be leaving when this year is over. He also knows this might be the best chance he has ever had to win it all. This should be fun to watch. Here's Dave Burns.
Kyle Busch finds himself in a familiar position, starting first at Chicagoland after rained-out qualifying. In 2008, he worked that for a win, though the race wasn't in the chase. A similar performance today will give the 18 team a huge advantage. Automatic advancement to round 2, and the chance to maybe think outside the box for a couple of weeks. Alan?
All right, Dave, thanks. And as the field is on the final pace lap before the green flag, we check How Do You? Brought to you by KFC. In this case, guys, I came up with how do you get through this first round, the challenger round of the chase.
Yeah, certainly want to avoid that bad finish. As a driver, don't put yourself and your team in that position.
Yeah, you don't want to take any risks, but if you win, you're in. So that's the best way I know to get in.
That's easy. Al Davis of the Oakland Raiders has been proud of us with that last one. Just win, baby.
And that minimize risks thing ties into these starts and restarts, too, that have been very frantic lately and will be today. 1 car dropping to the end of the field. Kyle Larson in that 42 had a crash in practice Saturday. Excuse me, that's the backup car he's in, so he's had to give up the 10th starting spot and go to the end of the field. And starting right in the middle of the pack is the number 1 seed for the chase, the 2012 champ, Brad Keselowski.
It's a little dangerous back here to start, Joe. Just let me know. Be a slow and steady march to the front, so we'll just all have to stay patient. Gonna have to remind Paul and I both of that.
Brad talking to his spotter, Joey Meyer, about the traffic he's in 25th starting spot.
Yeah, pretty good advice and pretty smart. I mean, just for Brad to be thinking like that.
Yeah, and as we talked about, that pressure being there has added even more pressure to he and Joey Logano in the start of this race.
1.5-mile track, 267 laps for the 400 miles. The trophy at hand for the race win. And how will race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup affect the championship? Leads lap 1, the race for 3rd. Matt Kenseth inside, Ryan Newman outside.
I expected to see some very loose race cars in these conditions today. Quite a bit warmer. Plus, we had the nationwide race yesterday and the truck race. I think that the track's probably quite a bit different And I've been already seeing some cars that's sideways.
Yeah, we heard Rodney Childers say that he expected the cars to be a little freer than they were in practice. I think a lot of teams did anticipate that, so we'll see how it goes.
A couple of housekeeping things as you watch the scoring ticker across the top of the screen. The cars highlighted in gold, the 16 drivers competing in the chase. And on the racetrack, the chase cars, as you see Jeff Gordon there, the yellow banner across the top of the windshield, the yellow front splitter, and the yellow roof decals. All of those denoting the 16 drivers in the chase.
And as we talk about those drivers, obviously that's what it's about, is winning a championship. But what's different in our sport is we have 27 others competing in this event, where in the other sports they would be sitting at home watching this event. How are they going to factor into this? Who could claim a win or get in between those positions, costing someone some spots?
Stenhouse Jr. in that white car using the outside lane to try and pick up a spot on Jamie McMurray. That's 7th.
Yeah, and I saw this one car yesterday. He's on the bottom right now. He worked a lot up on the top of the racetrack with some very impressive speeds. He could be somebody to watch to win this race today.
From challenging McMurray to being challenged by Clint Boyer and now Kevin Harvick.
Well, you see just how bumpy the racetrack is, in the corners especially. I mean, we go to Kentucky and you see how bumpy that racetrack is. It's one of the bumpier mile and a half. This one's more bumps in the corner. It seems like it's one of the toughest racetracks to set up for.
On board Kurt Busch. No, they didn't get to run qualifying here on Friday, but in the practice session they did get on Friday, where some of the teams were in qualifying trim, they were turning laps in excess of 191 miles an hour. Remember, just the one race a year here at Chicagoland Speedway for the Sprint Cup teams. With this year's aerodynamic configuration, the no front ride height, the big spoiler, and the high downforce, they are hauling around this racetrack.
Yeah, drivers that I talked to were telling me this is another one of those racetracks. You know, speed's kind of relative to these drivers. That's what they do every single week. But there's some of these places that really get their attention, and this was one of those tracks that they were telling me that you could really feel the speed.
47 Allmendinger, 5 Kane, left of the screen, right side of the screen. Whoa, look out. Harvick, little wiggle off the corner. Kurt Busch was able to stay off the back bumper.
And when you're trying really hard like Harvick was there to make a pass, you're trying to stay in the gas, and you might have to give a little bit of tug on the wheel. That kicks the back end out. Dangerous spot to be in, but he handled it well.
Yeah, I say he recovered real well. He made the pass.
So Harvick up to 9th place, while Kyle Busch has led all of the laps so far. There's the gap. Carl Edwards running second, Matt Kenseth third. Interesting, Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas first and third. One of the themes of a lot of this summer has been the Toyotas down on horsepower. They've done some testing lately, including here at Chicagoland Speedway. The race we saw on a mile-and-a-half track 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, Kenseth and Denny Hamlin were factors contending for the win. Now here they are first and third with Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, I talked to Jason Radcliffe, crew chief for Matt Kenseth this morning. He said they have a little bit different engine spec here, so it's somewhat better, maybe. Don't really know till they see it race, but he said the cars have been getting incrementally better along the way. He said they've had better cars aero-wise and chassis-wise over the last 5 to 6 weeks, and he expects some of that to start showing up.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch, and they were telling me of a test they had at Charlotte. They felt like that was very beneficial to them, that there were some things they'd been working on and they were able to prove out. Their cars are better, and Toyota's been working extremely hard trying to get the reliability and a little more power for them showing up here this weekend.
Good time for it to show up.
Absolutely. Driver take horsepower anytime he can get it.
5 of the 10 races in the chase on mile-and-a-half tracks where you're going to need all the steam you can bring. Kyle Busch showing plenty of it so far. Just underway at Chicagoland. He's led all of the 10 laps we've completed so far. Look at that beautiful blue sky over Chicagoland Speedway in the myafibstory.com 400 opening laps with Kyle Busch, the race leader. Caution-free so far in this one. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear is the official tire of NASCAR. There's Kyle Busch, but it's no longer Carl Edwards chasing him in second place. All of a sudden, a switch has been thrown, and the running order's been shuffled in a couple of minutes. Jeff Gordon second, Jamie McMurray third, Matt Kenseth fourth, Ryan Newman fifth. There's Carl Edwards second all the way back to sixth place in just a couple of laps. What's going on there, Vince?
Well, the handling is an issue here in the early going for Carl. Says that really tight through the middle, over the bumps especially, and then too free off. So not getting that drive off that he wants, and of course a lot of that due to the tightness and the bumps through the center. So a bit of a handful for Carl Edwards in the 99 as he's losing some spots early.
The engine started to sound funny to me. I don't know if it's just lower RPM or what.
I thought, although when they're in traffic it can be tough to sometimes distinguish, but I thought a couple laps when Carl came underneath us that something didn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, it hadn't laid down terribly, but he's definitely, I agree with you, it's almost like throwing a switch when he lost second place. Car was just totally different going backward.
But sometimes when the handle starts going away, you can't get to the throttle as good as you'd want. That changes the RPM, that changes the sound for you. See right here, though, Kevin Harvick really
I don't like
end of the
look at that.
straightaway. Could possibly be something there.
And again, what we've talked about all along is in this three-race elimination round, the one thing you can't have is a disastrous day and a bad finish.
Yeah, I can tell you the team's really on pins and needles about this one.
We'll keep an eye on it. But for Carl Edwards, hopefully, it's what DJ said, the handling affecting the way he's hearing it and not something that's actually amiss under the hood. So there's Kyle Busch, the race leader. He's got 1.6 seconds on second place Jeff Gordon. Have a look at the gap here. And it's Kyle. And then Jeff, who is closing, by the way. He's chopping down a little distance on the race leader.
Yeah, he's all by himself right now, but I don't think it's going to last long. Looks like Jamie McMurray in that one car is starting to make a little ground on him. So he's just coming in the picture behind Jeff.
There's your scoring serial and the shrinking deficit that Jeff has to race leader Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and it's the reason that I have Jeff Gordon as my pick to win this championship is just how solid they've been with speed and the ability for this race car to hold on, not lose as much speed over a run at these mile-and-a-half tracks, and having half of them at those type of tracks in the chase was a solid reason for that. I think this team is ready to win that 5th championship.
Yeah, he's had solid race cars, but and not just on mile-and-a-half. It's been in a lot of places, and the confidence level that this team has, I think, is going to carry them a long way.
Checking out our Pennzoil telemetry, you saw nearly, well, he touched 200 miles an hour into turn 1, a little bit slower into turn 3. But I can't remember who it was that said it in all the press festivities this week here in Chicago leading up to the chase, but someone said speed will fix a lot of things. If you have speed in your race cars, it'll handle a lot for these 10 weeks.
Yeah, the thing about that is it takes the pressure off. You can do a lot of things. If the car's not fast, you're having to try to figure out some way to get a good finish, some way to trick it, something to do. And but if you've got speed, it does free you up to do a lot of things.
Yeah, and usually if you're trying to make that speed, you're compromising something there, so you're going to have to give up something in that respect. But this team's been very, very solid. Here comes Jamie McMurray, though. He's been pretty solid all weekend that I've seen.
Stormed up from the 11th starting spot. There's the scoring serial on Jamie. And you were talking about before the 27 other drivers beyond the 16 chasers and what's in it for them. Well, first of all, if you didn't make the chase, it's because you weren't consistently running up front or winning races all season long. You had your chance. But second of all, you do have these 10 races to run, and I'll call it the chip on the shoulder attitude about we're not going to get any attention or that kind of thing. Well, I've been quoting my old pal BP a lot lately, but Benny Parsons used to say, I'll tell you the way you get attention. Be in the box. Run up front, we'll put you on TV.
That's what he told me a lot of times. That's even in the garage. I say, hey, man, can y'all get our car on TV? He said, just put it in the box.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it as long as it's in there.
And I'm sure McDonald's is happy that he's got this thing up here in the box because he's going forward. And that's the way that you do it. And Jamie McMurray is somebody that we talked about, came close to winning some races. We saw him at Bristol. Looked like that they were going to run his way in there by winning that race. Just didn't happen. But he's been very solid. I like what I see with this race team, and especially Jamie McMurray doing a lot of good things.
Winner at Talladega last fall in the chase, McMurray. And a quick run up to 3rd spot in the opening laps here at Chicagoland today. Kyle Busch out in front, the first race of the chase, won by a chase driver every year that this has been the lead race in the championship. About to hit 50 miles into the MyAFibStory.com 400 Chicagoland Speedway, race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. New leader Jeff Gordon. For how long, we don't know, because Jamie McMurray is right there with him. Both have gone by Kyle Busch, and now McMurray challenging Gordon for the top spot. While that settles in for a second, let's show you how Jeff Gordon got around Kyle Busch for the race lead.
They tried him on the high side for a couple of laps, but Kyle Busch was kind of blocking that. See, Gordon decided to take another way around the track, the shorter way.
Yeah, he blasted that thing down in the corner, didn't he?
Nice to have a car that'll go all places.
The grip level matched his commitment.
Sure did there.
It's been kind of fascinating to watch McMurray work in this high line that he's been working, because it's almost like you're looking at a dirt track. The guy that gets it hooked up in the center of the corner and can just ride the throttle all the way off the turn. Look how high he is and how much speed he carries off the corner onto the straightaway.
Yeah, it's fun to watch whenever a driver gets his car like this and somebody like Jamie doing this. I saw him yesterday in the final practice session. It just caught my eyes. We were up here preparing for the nationwide race, and I saw him get up there, and he was the one that got up there for the longest period of time, and I saw him pick up about 0.3 of a second per lap once he got this and kind of got his car dialed in and himself dialed in as to where he needed to back off and pick up the throttle and what he could do. And it told me right then that he could be a factor in this race today.
Got some lap traffic in the way there that's going to keep him from making a run at Gordon immediately, although Gordon having to deal with the same lap traffic and altering the line he's been taking also. When you're going into that third turn like we saw McMurray do last lap, and you're going to go in and keep that car right out by the wall, I have to imagine that's kind of intimidating. I mean, you race drivers are used to it, but for me, it'd be kind of intimidating. It'd be like kind of going down the highway between a tractor trailer and up against one of the barriers, the concrete barriers that's right out against the travel lane. You know, in some of the zones where they have the construction. I know you don't want to be passing people and all that, but you know what I'm saying. That trapped-in area where there's just no room to go anyplace.
Yeah, but for a driver, that's a adrenaline rush right there. That's a rush that you can get in there. But the key to it is what Jamie is doing is not overdriving, getting into the corner. His speed is made from backing out of the gas and then picking the throttle up earlier. He's literally making the straightaway longer, because that's where you try to be wide open in the gas more. So he's making this a longer racetrack.
Yeah, he's not having to get out of the gas real early getting into turn 1, but I notice it's almost dramatic getting into turn 3. Right now, you'll see him go down the back straightaway. He'll back off a lot earlier. Then see Jeff Gordon right there, way early. But then he gets back to that gas and that thing just takes off. And then he uses that whole front straightaway, and you see him gain all that back. And then some.
The thing I like about Jeff Gordon's car, though, is he's able to stay out front here. Gordon's able to maneuver in traffic a little better. His car will run the middle and the bottom, maybe just a little bit better than Jamie's.
I'll tell you, that one car looks pretty strong.
Here he comes.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to the bottom, though.
Now, that was an opportunity right there in looking ahead that he could have made that run down to the inside. With some traffic ahead, he could have possibly done that. He opted not to, staying with what he knows good. It's still early.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah, why go to the bottom when you can do this? So now he's got that line.
Put Marcos Ambrose a lap down. Ambrose confirming here this weekend he is going to return to his native Australia to race next year. Here's McMurray for the race lead, and he's got Gordon off at 2. So, third different leader of the race is Jamie McMurray, now with Jeff Gordon second and Kyle Busch back in third position. Dave?
Now, the race started out really well for these guys. Dave Rogers calling this track for them hit and miss. Well, it was a hit to start with. Kyle called in, said, I'm not really running that hard, but then the handling went away just a bit. He calls the car a little loose in, a little tight off the corner, so they'll make adjustments, but they really didn't sound like they were having that much trouble until everyone started eating them up.
I think one thing you have to be careful with this racetrack is you feel like that you're not overusing the tires when you're out front there, and Kyle Busch was setting a pretty good pace, but you stay down the bottom too long, that's going to take a little bit more to make your car go fast down there and use up your tires a little more.
One of the 16 chasers is on pit road early. Dave?
He fell from 17th starting position back to 22nd, calling the car a 12 loose on a 10 scale. So it was really out there for A.J. Allmendinger. They're going to make a track bar adjustment 2 rounds down, a 4-tire change, and full of Sunoco fuel. But he had to get that car down pit road early to get it underneath him.
It's not that much early, because here begin to come some others onto the pit lane now, including Kevin Harvick. Harvick had moved all the way up to 5th place from where he started back in 12th, and now he's coming onto the pit lane. Denny Hamlin going to follow Harvick down the pit road. Jamie?
Remember, Kevin Harvick, different pit crew this weekend. It's Tony Stewart's crew going over the wall. Championship winning team here with the shot. They work on the left-hand side of the car. Kevin saying he's just a little loose to start the run, as he was yesterday in the Nationwide Series race, but the car is fast. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin is in, working with his crew chief, Darian Grubb, back at the racetrack, saying the car is pretty good, just a little tight in the center. Good stop. Let's go to Doc.
Ryan Newman started on the outside of the front row and said from the get-go the car was loose in and loose off. Going to make a wedge change and a left front air pressure change. 4 tires and get it full of Sunoco fuel. Ryan said the car will not take off in the first 4 or 5 laps and then gets very good after about 6 laps in longer runs. There's the chassis change and left side tires going on. Alan?
A lot more coming in. Greg Biffle's in. Joey Logano, Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth on and off the pit road. Here's Logano in, Doc.
Joey Logano said that he's losing a nose. He said the car is tight center, losing a nose more and more in turn 1 and loose off. That's where I'm losing speed. Major chassis adjustment for Logano.
Greg Biffle is in, had fallen back to 25th position, down on the track bar, wedge in the left rear, no rear grip, and from the center off of the corner was a complaint from Greg. As for Kyle Busch, we talked about the corner handling not where he wanted it. He'll get just a small change and Sunoco fuel in the car.
Kurt Busch spun at the top of the pits, trying to get Wout up to the entrance to pit road. There's the first mistake Rusty was talking about.
Come on.
Jamie?
And both the 24 and the 1 saying a little bit tight in the center, so they wanted to free it up a bit. They work on the left side of the 24. They make a wedge adjustment right there, 4 tires, and filled them up with Sunoco fuel.
Well, the 41 of Kurt Busch is too loose. He says doesn't want to get it too tight. So you got to be careful on the adjustment. Needs more grip. Some wedge in the right rear. Air pressure. 4 tires for the 41.
Eric Almirola headed out. Brad Keselowski, yet to pit, has taken over the race lead. There's the 2. Remember, Brad started way back in 25th place. Now, when he does come in, he's going to have to watch the cone, that commitment cone that NASCAR puts out to mark the spot of commitment on or off pit road. Well, when Kurt Busch spun, he hit that. He's knocked it out into the right edge of the traffic lane. There it is. Here comes Keselowski to it. See and avoid.
There you go. Come on in. All the way down here.
And Kurt Busch will get penalized for a commitment line violation for this. 3rd car in line. And here's Keselowski's stop, Dave.
He passed 12 cars on that first run, Alan. A really good sign for these guys. They will, quote, stick to the plan. Just a piece of tape on the front grille of the cars. They fill it full of Sunoco fuel and change 4 Goodyear Racing Eagles. They said, Brad said the balance was really pretty good, and even in all that traffic.
So there goes Brad Keselowski, and the cycle of stops is completed. And it comes back to where it started, though with a much wider gap. Jamie McMurray, the race leader, gaining a little bit of ground on Jeff Gordon over the cycle of pit stops. Double checking the time here. It was a 2nd and a 3rd, 3 pit stops. It's about a 2nd and 6/10 post pit stops. So I'll call it fairly neutral there in a toss-up on the round of pit stops. Except for Kurt Busch, who just did his pass-through penalty, was running 9th before the cycle of pit stops began. Then this went on off turn 4, and now he finds himself running back in 33rd place. Now a lap down.
Pit road.
The MyAFibStory.com 400 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Chicagoland Speedway, Joliet, Illinois, just shy of 100 miles into the race, and Jamie McMurray, the leader, after the opening round of pit stops. Pit stop's a big plus for Denny Hamlin. We check out the fastest 4-tire pit stop on that round, brought to you by Sprint. Look at the number. Wow.
They are so consistent, and right around that time, almost every pit stop.
Stay connected to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data to share, plus unlimited talk and text for $100 a month. Learn more at sprint.com/datashare. That stop gained Denny Hamlin 4 positions on the cycle of stops. So now the 11 car up to the top 10. He's in 10th position.
I've talked to Denny a number of times. He tells me all the time about how good that pit. He said if we ever get our performance on the track to the standard of our pit crew, he said we'll be unbeatable.
Yeah, look out. Matt Kenseth, his teammate, he had the second fastest pit stop that round. So Gibbs guys are really getting it done on pit road.
Yeah, you have to give them a lot of credit. They've got a great program over there, and the people do a tremendous job. They work hard at it to be the best.
Kevin Harvick started 12th, up to 4th, racing Ryan Newman for 5th. Newman in a Richard Childress racing car. RC talking about this being the 45th anniversary of the debut of Richard Childress Racing. That historic race back in Talladega, September 1969, when RC made his debut. And look what it's become. All the championships, all the trophies, and now, of course, his grandsons racing in NASCAR's top 2 levels.
Yeah, he's still just as active as ever as an owner. I mean, he's still just as competitive as he was in 1969.
Solid drive for Ryan Newman, one of those driver crew chief pairings together in the chase for the first time. Luke Lambert there with Newman. And again, right now running in 5th position. Here's Hamlin racing with Brad Keselowski for the 10th spot. Now, when I walked around the garage the last couple days, that number 2 was on the lips of a lot of people as someone to potentially win the race. Then we didn't get qualifying in, and he started way back in traffic, 25th place. But he has made some serious progress on that deficit in the opening quarter of this one.
I spent some time with Paul Wolf and Brad together and right after that rain out of the qualifying, and he said that they weren't too worried about it. I mean, they did much rather be up front and would have rather had qualifying, but they knew they had a good car, and they're pretty confident in what they can do together, and they don't panic when they have something like that happen, and I think that's just one of the strengths of this team. And they're having a really strong run so far today, Dave.
Andy, they are, and they got real-world testing for getting through traffic at Atlanta. Remember, they had an issue and restarted 18th at one point and drove all the way back to 4th, Paul Wolf told me, over a couple of runs. So he says, we know that our cars basically handle well in traffic with the package that we've got on them. So they were very confident going into today, even starting in the back.
You think about a couple of performances that they've had and how dominating they were at some of the track. Kentucky comes to mind, another rough racetrack. Even though a lot of that, as you pointed out, Andy's on the straightaway, the corners are still rough. But they have something that works really well there, and Brad knows how to work a race car through those bumps in the corner, and you know that he's going to be a factor in this race before this day's over.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. You know, he was talking about just how rough and bumpy this racetrack was, and he said it's the worst one they run on. I said, even worse than Kentucky. He said, yeah. He said the reason is because where the bumps are, and you see right through the corner, it's jarring bumps right over the tunnel in the middle of 3 and 4. He said at Kentucky, it's basically on the straightaway where it jars, but it doesn't affect the speed of the car.
Now, Keselowski just passed Denny Hamlin for the 10th spot. Listen to this.
It just changed tone. Doesn't think we're blowing up.
Well, that's not a good sign right there. This is what I worried about when you hear about new engine specs they're going to bring online. It always comes with that risk of reliability because you haven't proven it. You don't know exactly, how reliable it's going to be until you put it in conditions of real racing. Jamie, it sounds like they might be headed for trouble.
Well, that's exactly what Denny said. He said the tune just sounds different. So Darian said, keep an eye on your gauges right now and stay out there. Remember, Denny ran the Nationwide Series race yesterday, and he actually blew up, so he's sensitive to the sound in the feel. He hung on to it for a while yesterday, but it gave up in the closing laps of that race.
Oh, boy.
It may not be anything, but like I said, when you bring something new, it makes you nervous, especially when you hear a driver say something like that.
Yeah, and especially a driver with as good a feel and that as Denny Hamlin has in that type situation. It doesn't take much to change that, and it might not be something that they've lost a cylinder already, just something that he's felt that is happening and could later be a problem for them.
Kevin Harvick trying to find a way around Kyle Busch for 3rd place. They caught some lap traffic and have to single file that one out while they work their way through.
Yeah, Harvick and his team, one of those first ones on the pit road to get those fresh tires. That will be a difference. They're not going to be able to wait very long in these situations under these green flag stops because these cars are slowing down about a second in less than 10 laps from whenever they run their fastest lap after putting those fresh tires on.
And they pitted just a little short in that first run, and I expect to see that some under green flag conditions. And I wondered how that might work today because of this 3-round elimination and making that short stop and putting yourself at risk. But I talked to Steve Letarte. He says that's a calculated risk. They don't really do a blind calculation on that. They know that when they make this pit stop how it's going to work out. So they've got a lot better handle on that now. So that's why you're seeing some of them pit early.
Caution, debris, turn 2.
Debris, turn 2.
Been talking about it for a minute or so, and have put the yellow flag out for the first time in the race. Comes out just a lap shy of 100 miles. And about 20 laps after the leaders pitted under the green flag.
Yeah, 20 laps. That's kind of right in that range of where there's a little bit of opportunity for strategy, especially when we have 21 cars now on the lead lap.
Caution, a huge break for Eric Almirola, who was about to be put a lap down by the race leader Jamie McMurray, and kept him, one of the 16 chase drivers, on the lead lap. So he gets to make up about 30 seconds that he was behind the leader and come back around. Not so fortunate, A.J. Allmendinger and Greg Biffle, along with Kurt Busch, all three a lap down to the race leader here in this last segment of racing. Of course, Kurt with the pit road pass-through penalty, Allmendinger and Biffle lapped by McMurray. Free pass should go to Tony Stewart. 22nd place will come back around onto the lead lap. Pit road closed for another lap. They have a cleanup truck where the cars would enter and exit the pits, so they want to make sure they get those cleared before they turn everybody loose.
Yeah, he was putting the cone back in place down there.
Cone's very important.
Yes, not to hit it.
So while we have a minute, quick reminder that you're watching the MyAFibStory.com 400 from Chicagoland Speedway, and NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy has enhanced race action today of this race, all the onboard views and so forth. Whatever it was, they just picked it up. So pit crews will get a second opportunity to go to work here, and Andy, we've talked about when those strategy situations open up, two things to watch for. Because so many cars are on the lead lap, cars already leaving their pits on the turn 4 end of pit road, when other cars are still coming in and past them yet to make their stop. Sometimes we see some fenders get wrinkled and some feelings too. Yeah,
and the thing is everybody's trying to make up every little spot, so they're not going to, they're going to take some chances coming in and out of these pit stalls. It's really a dangerous time.
Especially if you're one of those that's going to just get 2 tires. You're not going to want to sit around and check everything out. You want to get out because you're kind of voiding what you're trying to do if you do that. So.
Yeah, we're talking about just tenths of seconds that are separating these pit stops in these positions.
And what was it we showed on countdown? 7/10 of a second is 41 feet at the pit road speed. They have to make
everything. They can't, like I say, can't hesitate when they pull out of these pit stalls. Sometimes they need to if somebody's in the way.
Pit road will be open here. The cleanup truck in front of the field will clear the pit road entrance before the cars get there. And so here we go. Round number 2. Who does what? Jamie?
Now watch for some different strategies here. The one at Jamie McMurray, they're calling for right sides only. Car is pretty good. Meanwhile, the 24, they want to go down on the track bar, keep adjusting. The turn is very good. Kevin Harvick just needs to be better on entry, so they're dead in the water. They're calling for right sides right now. Let's go to Dave.
Kyle Busch was told don't slide him. He did not. That means 2 right side tires only will be changed. Full of Sunoco fuel and gone. He needed some overall grip. Might have been an air pressure adjustment to help that as well.
Here's the strategy play. And by the way, look at Kyle Larson. Started last in that backup car, raced his way up into the top 15, now up into the top 5 after some strategy there played by his team. Just past the quarter mark of the chase opener today at Chicagoland, and a few mistakes already in this one. On the first round of pit stops, Kurt Busch had some troubles.
Yeah, a little hot trying to get in, make up a little bit of time there, but cost him a lot of time. He's now a lap down.
And just now, Kevin Harvick had to make a second pit stop.
Had a left rear wheel loose after that 4-tire stop. That's a mistake that'll cost you right here.
And after the change of pit crews earlier in the week with Tony Stewart's team.
Shake it off here, guys. Long, long way to go.
So Kevin finds himself back in 21st place now. Casey Kane also speeding entering pit road. He has to drop to the end of the line. 20th place for the restart for Kane. Right up the outside, Jamie McMurray in that red number 1, while Kyle Busch holds on to the lead.
Well, McMurray came to race today, didn't he?
Sure did. Ryan Newman had a really tough time getting going on that. Lost a lot of spots.
And look who's second. Kyle Larson in the 42, who started last in a backup car. Challenge there by Matt Kenseth in the 20.
Yeah, the top 3 just changed 2 tires that stop. McMurray, the first car with 4 tires.
As that sorts out, actually a couple of more to add on to your list there, Andy. So you had Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, and Austin Dillon changing just rights. McMurray first off the pit lane with 4 tires, restarted 6th, ran around that outside lane, and got himself up now to race for 4th place. Joey Logano is still trapped well back in traffic. That.
Yeah, I just
into the wall.
Oh, that's not good. It's the last thing he needed to do right now with the car that he had.
We'll see. These cars are pretty durable. See just how much that might have damaged. I don't think the body's going to
look at my right side.
significant if we don't start seeing some tire rub there.
It looks okay. Nothing rubbing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good lick though, man. That thing hit hard. Didn't seem to slow him down a whole lot.
Watch out.
Looked like he had a big run off the corner, but he lost the air to the nose from his teammate.
Yeah, I saw that. I got the wall.
4th to 7th in that scuff for Jamie McMurray, and we'll see what the adjustment on the car does here as we run out these next several laps. Fighting with Dale Earnhardt Jr. now to try and get 6th place back.
I talked to Rodney Childers this morning about, we see a lot of cars hit the wall, and sometimes they're better than they were before they hit the wall.
Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth still racing for 2nd place.
And he said that what happens usually is it kind of hurts the body, but sometimes it'll knock the rear end housing over enough to give you a little bit more skew, and so it can help the car.
So now they're going to train drivers to check how hard maybe to hit the wall and help things?
He didn't recommend that. I asked him. Okay.
Boy, I was waiting for some line there. You said train drivers. I was waiting for him to come back with something.
Yeah. That's a double-edged sword there, isn't it?
Brad Keselowski up to 3rd in the deuce. Now Jeff Gordon trying to regain some ground lost to the strategy play.
See McMurray taking the spot back away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. that he lost when he scraped the wall a few minutes ago.
Do we need to define some terms? What's a touch? What's a scrape? What's a hit?
What's a bump? What's a real wreck?
Yeah, some of them are self-explanatory, but
yeah, we'll work on that for you. More developments on that later. For now, little past the quarter distance, and Kyle Busch back out in front at Chicagoland. There is the race for the lead at Chicagoland Speedway. And don't forget, Jeff Gordon here looking at Kyle Busch for the race lead. Later in the race, you'll be able to see this during our NASCAR Nonstop coverage presented by Sprint. That comes up in the second half of today's race. Wouldn't have missed a thing.
Nope.
Jeff Gordon on 4 tires from the pit stop, 4 fresh tires, while the other 3 cars in the frame just changed the right side tires on the pit stop. Kyle Busch so far holding off Gordon for the lead. Brad Keselowski up as high as second in a skirmish a minute ago, slipped back to fourth, and these four continue to go at it in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's up to fifth.
18 last time. You could see Gordon there kind of with a little bit of a payback, but last time he got down kind of on Jeff's quarter panel to slow him down, which is perfectly okay. But that time you could see Jeff Gordon get over to the left rear and kind of got Kyle a little bit loose. Gordon able to take the lead again.
It's perfectly okay as long as you don't mind it being done to you. Just racing tactics, right?
Exactly right.
Patience right there.
Those 4 tires took Gordon from 8th to first in 16 laps. So just trying to evaluate how much the tires are worth, and they're worth more to some people than others. But you're looking at, I think the 2 tires are holding on speed pretty well, but you got 4 tires on a good car like Gordon that's starting to show up.
Now, on the other side of that coin, Ryan Newman restarted second with just right side tires on the pit stop. Now there he is back in 11th place.
And it may be something that a driver and team like Newman here will have to say, okay, if we're going to do 2 tires, they may be okay, but we're going to have to make this adjustment if we do that.
How about Kyle Larson?
Yeah, pretty impressive. I mean, he started dead last, passed a lot of cars in his pit crew, then made a good decision to take 2 tires. That was the right decision for this team to try to gain some of that back. He's able to hold on to it.
Nice drive so far for the youngster from California, Vince.
Well, been a little bit tight on landing, but that's the only complaint from the young rookie who's the front runner for Rookie of the Year here in the Sprint Cup Series. I talked to him before the race. I said, what do you think? Because this is his first Cup race at Chicagoland. He said, I'm not quite sure what to expect. And then he looked at me and said, but I'll figure it out. He was so nonchalant about it. This kid is so cool.
Yeah. Tell you, he's a lot of fun to watch race. I know he's gotten the attention of a lot of fans. You hear his name brought up a lot when you're out there walking around talking to people behind the grandstands and such, and I think he's going to be awfully fun to watch race. I mean, think about what we've seen him do with this little experience in a stock car. It wasn't, a year and a half ago, he had hardly driven anything with fenders on it.
Yeah, he's got such a great attitude. I talked to him after nationwide qualifying, and this was after he lost that primary car in practice. And he said, yeah, he blew a left front tire, crashed. He said, but then he perked right up. He said, yeah, but the backup car is just as good. He said, he felt really good about his race. Didn't let it get him down one bit.
And a great job by the Ganassi team to have that backup car prepared. They only lost a little bit of time in practice before they had this car out on the speedway and got Kyle Larson some laps in it.
Yeah, and I enjoyed talking to him and getting his perspective because it's a little different than the drivers that you talk to that have been around a while, and just how he's learning, how he's going about all of this. But as much as anything, how much fun he's having. And he talks about that a lot, and you appreciate that.
22 years old, Kyle Larson in his rookie season of NASCAR Sprint Cup racing. Matt Kenseth has fallen back a few spots since the restart. They're running in 7th and racing Jimmy Johnson and Jamie McMurray. Kenseth restarted 3rd. I was doing some of my work getting ready for the race. I wrote down next to Matt Kenseth's name, Sneaky Fast, because for all the conversations we've had about the Toyotas and the Joe Gibbs team and all that, this driver earned the most points in the races on the mile-and-a-half tracks this season before the chase. Matt and this team.
And he's overdue to win. I mean, I'm just waiting for him to break out. You know, as you watch this Pennzoil telemetry, you can see just, this team is almost there, ready to win, and you're waiting for that to happen. I like what you said, Al, that sneaky fast. That's Matt Kenseth to a T.
And my take on it is he finds a way. He might not have the best car. They might be down on horsepower. But in these type tracks in particular, he finds a way to get himself positioned up there and makes a maximum day of it, and that's all that you can ask of a driver.
Pretty good race for 3rd here. Brad Keselowski by to 2nd. Now Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch locked up for 3rd place. Dale Jr. just behind him, and Jamie McMurray starting to move back up a little bit. There's McMurray and Kenseth racing for 6th and 7th. And Jimmy Johnson creeping into the top 10 picture also. But that's all going on well behind Jeff Gordon, because after taking the lead, he's yarded him. The drive for 5 for Gordon starts here. Caution out for the 2nd time at Chicagoland Speedway. Ryan Newman in some trouble. Flat left rear tire. He's left some debris on the racetrack. We'll catch up with that story in a minute. First, here come the leaders charging onto pit road. Stops at the 150-mile mark of this race. Jamie?
after Gordon took the lead again. He said, "Thanks, guys. You got it. Thank you." So the call here, no changes. 4 tires. They'll fill the 24 up with Sunoco fuel. He has the car right where he wants it. Doc?
Car getting better and better every time for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Talking about tire change. We're going to tighten up a smidgen, but decided not to, so the car turning okay. Dave.
Second and third place, right of your screen. Both took right side tires last time. Both need 4 this time. As for Brad's car, leave it alone. Just put 4 on. As for Kyle's car, a bit too free. They'll make an adjustment for that.
Going to have a couple of more strategy players. Jamie McMurray, Joey Logano will get up to first and second. Now, Ryan Newman, remember, just changed the right side tires on the pit stops at lap 69, then had this. Watch him ride this thing through turns 3 and 4, center of the screen.
Yeah, he fought that thing for a while. He was able to hold on to the car, but it did tear up a few of the things, like you said, underneath. He had 52 laps on those left side tires.
And where he was, he couldn't get slowed down because there were so many cars around to get to pit road at that time. Did a nice job, though, of not wrecking.
So bad luck for Ryan Newman. And some damage to the 31 car that brings out the second caution of the race. Here just outside of Chicago, ready to go back under green in the myafibstory.com 400. Wrapping up caution, Jamie McMurray now the leader. His team and Joey Logano's going for just right side tires to get to first and second. Jeff Gordon, the prior leader, now lined up third. Kurt Busch gets the free pass to get back on the lead lap after the penalty earlier from spinning, entering pit road and sending that commitment cone for a ride. So good for Kurt after the bad earlier. Maybe it's some difficulty for another one of the chase drivers, AJ Allmendinger.
I can shift. My hand might be bloody by the end of this, but I can shift. The restart's not going to be a lot of fun, I can tell you that.
Dave reporting up from pit road that the shifter lever has broken off inside that 47 car.
Seems like maybe the ball came and may have broken there, and he's got enough that he can get his hand on there, but probably some sharp, jagged edges there that he'll have to deal with.
Yeah, he didn't sound real happy about it.
Yeah, just what you got to do sometimes.
Now, Jimmy Johnson lost a little bit of ground on the pit stops. He came in 8th. He went out 11th. Remember, 2 teams changed just right side tires, but he also had this happen. Watch when they come around the car. Oops.
Yeah, the tire carrier making an adjustment. You can see in the window, and they just had a little hiccup there coming around the corner of the car. Almost cost him more than that.
So again, Jimmy back in the 11th position. And Ryan Newman has managed to stay on the lead lap after the problems that he had with the flat left rear. Newman going to be all the way back in 23rd place, dropping to the end of the line after pitting before the pit road was open. And again, we don't know the extent of the crush panels and things like that that were knocked out from under the left rear of that car. That might have an effect on the car's performance as we go forward. 102 laps, plenty of time left to go in this one as we go back racing.
Starting to see something that we'll have to keep an eye on for later restarts, and I don't know yet if it's a product of the 2 tires and spinning the tires there, but the outside line having a very difficult time getting going.
Little 3 wide here. Vickers 55, Hamlin 11, Johnson 48. Joey Logano started back in 28th place. Restarted second. You see he's regrouped after the slip. Running in 6th place, Brad Keselowski now up to the number 2 spot. And working on race leader Jamie McMurray. So the 2 passes the 1 for position 1. And now Jeff Gordon by McMurray to grab second place. We saw how strong Jeff Gordon was when he got the nose of that Chevy out in clean air earlier. Now Keselowski has the nose of his Ford out in clean air, and we'll see if he can put some gap on Gordon.
Yeah, man, he has 4 tires this time too. Brad Keselowski. Last time he was just on 2 tires, fresh tires. Had like 30 laps more on his lefts. Right now it's a little bit more of a fair fight between the 2 and the 24. We'll see how they stack up.
And for third place, Dale Jr. working on McMurray.
Murray just taking those right side tires. He took 4 the first time they had the caution, and you had a good car. Looked like he was going to be able to drive straight back to the front, but bumped the right side. Did a little bit of damage to the car. We'll see how it affects it going forward and if they can adjust for it.
I'm impressed with this 88. They didn't have the car that they wanted when they finished practice. Steve Letarte went back. We heard Dale Jr. talk about it in the countdown show that it made a lot of changes and adjustments, and he's been strong here so far as he takes this 3rd spot away.
Yeah, I went to see Steve this morning. They had a big high-level meeting going on in the truck. I had to come back to see. They were making a lot of changes as they went through tech this morning.
Nice as a driver whenever you didn't have what you wanted in practice and leading up to the race, and you're a little apprehensive as to what you may have in making so many changes, but when it works out, it's fun.
Got the boss looking over his shoulder as he works too.
Yeah, he heard about all the changes too. He was there.
So in this championship, we've got 1 driver pursuing a 7th crown, 1 pursuing a 5th crown, 3 pursuing a 2nd crown, and 11 chasing their 1st championship. The guy leading, looking for his 2nd in 3 years. Brad Keselowski out in front at Chicagoland. The MyAFibStory.com 400 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Chicagoland Speedway, race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Michigan's Brad Keselowski out in front of Jeff Gordon by 2 seconds. He has been able to pull away in the clean air. There's 3rd place Dale Earnhardt Jr., 4th place Jamie McMurray, and now 5th place Kevin Harvick, who continues to recover from the extra pit stop back at lap 70 when the left rear was left loose on that 4 car. It sent him all the way back to 21st at the time.
Yeah, he's marching forward now, though. Looks like they've got this car pretty much where Harvick wants it.
The 4 to 4th place. One of the fun things about this new chase grid system, eliminations and trying to determine the champion, NASCAR's been asking its fans to fill out their grids all week long, and I've encountered a few different drivers at various times during the week. I did a function for New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Boston the other day with Dick Vitale and Joe Lunardi, ESPN's bracketologist, and Casey Kane. First thing when we got done, Casey asked me, "Let me see your grid. How far you got me going?" And trying to figure out which 4 drivers are going to be the 4 to race for the championship at Homestead, Miami. It's really interesting to think. I mean, look right here. Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth. Who are you going to rule out when? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you would think that from 16, paring it down to 12 and taking those 4 would be rather simple, but so many things can determine who that may be. Maybe someone we're not even thinking about that we had going on pretty far.
I'll give you a hint on mine. One of these 2 makes it to my Final 4.
Yeah.
Same here.
Kind of opens your, yeah. I'll put the 22. He's in my Final 4. Yeah. I think he'll get there eventually. Not the best day, but they've had to kind of do some strategy stuff and have worked themselves into the top 10 here now.
Talked with crew chief Todd Gordon down in the garage this morning. He said, yes, we have lacked speed through practice here, but we went back, we studied some things, we studied our trends at other mile-and-a-half tracks. We think we know where we're missing and what to do to this car to bring it around today. And again, Logano, despite losing ground since the restart with the 2 tires and that tough restart, not agreeing with his car, is up into the top 10 for the moment. Kyle Busch has still led the most laps in this one. Jamie McMurray there has led the 2nd most laps. Right now they're racing for 5th and 6th. I asked, the same question about Kyle. How far you got him going? Where does he make your Final 4? Does he not? Where do you drop him out? And then I think about Talladega, looking at McMurray because he won the race a year ago, and one of the elimination races is Talladega. Hello.
Yeah, it's not going to be till the very end of that last lap there that we'll be able to determine who it is that marches on for those of those last 8 that are going to make it for the final 4 races. As far as an opportunity for the championship, Kyle Busch is one of those. I think this is an extremely important weekend for this race team to have a solid day. They don't have to win here. And I think he said it earlier today that a top 10, they need to come out of here with that. He knows that looking ahead at New Hampshire, pretty good track for him. Dover, certainly an opportunity for him to run well, maybe win that moves him forward.
So Kyle Busch running 5th. Finished 2nd in the last 3 races at New Hampshire and has a couple of wins at Dover. So this a big stretch of races for Kyle. Kevin Harvick by Dale Jr. So Harvick up to 3rd, Jr. running 4th. Behind Jeff Gordon, who runs 2nd, and Brad Keselowski, the race leader, as we're still a little bit shy of the 200-mile mark today in the MyAFibStory.com 400 at Chicagoland. Had them lined up to get in the turnstiles before the start today. And certainly enjoying a beautiful afternoon out here at the racetrack, watching Brad Keselowski right now. Big hometown race for Brad and his sponsor, headquartered in Chicago. And Keselowski out in front by 2.7 seconds on Jeff Gordon. Let's go up to speed, check in on some of these front runners. Dave, you're first.
Alan, he hasn't been very far off that bottom groove today. Every once in a while to pass like he's doing to Justin Allgaier right now. But Paul Wolfe told me when they went to the high side in practice, they didn't get a lot of benefit. Plus, they felt like a lot of the front runners would use the high side later in the run. So Brad, bottom feeder today, and so far, very, very good. Jamie?
And behind him, Jeff Gordon, he's been pretty good today, led 26 laps. Now on the last stop, they opted not to make any changes. Now just moments ago, Jeff asked on the radio, guys, we've lost something. I'm not sure what it is, if it's me, if it's the car, or the competition, if they've gotten better. So they need to make an adjustment on the next stop. Now behind them is a man on a mission. Kevin Harvick restarted 12th. Remember, he had that pit stop earlier. They had a loose wheel, had to pit again, lost a lot of track position. He's made that up, and the car is good. He's been quiet until about 3 minutes ago on the radio. He said he's a little bit loose as he's looking to pass the 24. Let's go to Doc.
Yeah, behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. You heard the story yesterday at Happy Hour. He was basically a 20th place car. Crew chief Steve Letarte stayed up all night working to change the setup and made wholesale changes. Just prior to climbing in the car, Dale Jr. asked Letarte, hey, tell me what you did. After going through a list of about 8 or 10 items, Jr. said, stop and said, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't ever tell me you made that many changes again. I don't need to know. Right now, the car's a little bit edgy. Dave.
Doc, some radio transmissions require a little translation. That was Kyle Busch on the restart, and I asked his team, hey, is he being sarcastic about horsepower on the restart? And they said, no way. We've made some improvements this weekend. Kyle's been very, very happy with the horsies, and he was just letting them know. Vince?
Well, and chasing Kyle Busch is that target machine of Kyle Larson. Larson started in the rear, started 42nd because he had to go to a backup. The car's been pretty good. Chris Heroy's given him something to work with for sure. They got some track position on that second stop when they took right side tires only. It's been a little snug for Larson, but that's all so far. As far as the 20 of Matt Kenseth is concerned, hasn't been able to get going on the 4 tires, likes the 2 tires at the start of the run, but it starts to come around on the 4 the longer they go. It's still a little bit too free for Matt Kenseth, but not too bad right now as he's up into the top 10 solidly. Jamie?
Jamie McMurray in the 1 car, not in the chase, but nice showing so far today. Led 32 laps. Remember, he got into the wall earlier. They had a chance to look at that on the last stop, and it was all cosmetic. He hit it just right, that it didn't affect the handling or the drive of the car. Now, he's saying that top line, his preferred line, he's too loose, and then it's going away. So he's searching around for a better option. Vince?
It's been a frustrating day so far for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. He and Chad Knaus both. Knaus has twisted on this car with wrenches in the left and right sides on every single stop. Jimmy been fighting loose off snug in the center. Right now it's a little bit too tight, and Chad Knaus asked Jimmy, since it was too loose up on the top line earlier, can you go there now that the car is tighter? So they're searching all over the track to try to find some speed, Alan.
All right, Vince, thanks. Also noteworthy, Eric Almirola has come all the way back up to 11th position in this run after being saved by that last caution. From being put a lap down, he's come all the way back and starting to race his way up toward the top 10.
Yeah, he actually just moved into the top 10, passing Joey Logano. This car's on the move.
There is the 43. So Almirola coming back from some early difficulties. Now we're at the point where we're going to start to see some green flag pit stops here. It's been 42 laps since the leaders pitted. It'd be about 45 to 50 is the window today. So we're going to start to see some guys come in here very soon. Interesting to hear Jeff Gordon asking about Brad Keselowski, as Jamie reported earlier, because Keselowski has gotten away in this run after in the last run Gordon had yarded the two.
I think what Jeff is referring to is just the difference between him and the two this run. I think the biggest difference is the 4 tires that are on the 2 car. The last time they were out there for the run and Gordon was out front, Brad only had 2 fresh tires.
Yeah, and want to know a little bit about have we slowed down any, or is the 2 just that 4 tires made him that much better? Do we need to adjust on our car? Now, they didn't make that adjustment last time. Sometimes you're going to have to keep up with that, but it's hard to adjust a car that was leading by almost 3 seconds whenever you pitted.
The shuffle here for 5th place. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Larson. And the first of the chase cars in this round to make his way to pit road is here. Joey Logano, remember, he restarted second after taking just rights earlier. And now he's all the way down the pit lane towards the turn 1 end, Doc.
Yeah, he said lost the rear grip on the 22 car, said will not turn in the corner. And after starting back in 28th and driving his car to the top 10, already had a pretty impressive comeback for this Penske team. They will go ahead and put 4 tires on it, make a significant chassis adjustment in the right rear. Also, air pressure change. Got to get it full of Sunoco fuel. Let's go to Dave.
A.J. Allmendinger struggling this run, running in 25th. Did you see Kyle Busch on the right, still getting that challenge from Larson? In the 25th position, and with the shifter that may have come off the car, he's having trouble getting through the gears, so getting started is tough. They got the car tight, now it's loose again. Struggling day for A.J. Vince?
There's the 27 of Paul Menard, chassis wrench in the right side, trying to help Menard with his handling. It's a 4-tire change for the 27. They feel like they've been getting better over the last several weeks. They're looking to capitalize today, Doc.
Dale Jr. saying the car's been really good, but in the last 5 or 6 laps, it's gotten a little bit edgy in the corner. Was turning better in the middle, and they will make an air pressure change and a chassis adjustment left rear, putting 4 tires on Junior's car. Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin brings it in. No mention of the engine issues that he was experiencing earlier. The power seems to be just fine as they put 4 tires on, and they make a chassis adjustment to help the handling there.
Michael Annett just made the left turn into the garage as this round of green flag pit stops continues, and Brad Keselowski stays out for another lap. Jamie?
And Jamie McMurray, remember, he was saying up high it's too loose, down low it's too tight. They wanted to adjust him for the middle as he was searching around to find a better line. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, again, we have an issue. The 20 of Matt Kenseth spins entering pit road. As the cars continue to file down pit road, he makes his way into his pit box.
Another issue on the pit lane. Justin Allgaier is stalled right in the middle of the pit road as cars dodge him on the left and right sides, coming and going from their stops. Now he finally gets it fired up, but that was a close one as Eric Almirola came onto the pits to get to his stall just past where Allgaier was sitting. Dave?
Kyle Busch overshoots his pit. They have a wedge adjustment plan for a tight race car, but a little time cost already for Kyle. You can see he's back inside the box now. A 4-tire change and full of Sunoco fuel. He ran 5th this session. We'll see where he files back into the queue after missing his pit box coming in. The 2-car of Brad Keselowski this run, he said, I hate to bring it up because my exit is so good, but I need a little more front turn. They'll try to do it with air pressure and a 4-tire change for the leader, Keselowski. Vince?
The 41 of Kurt Busch, they were a lap down early because Kurt spun entering pit road. The car's gotten much better, still working on turns 3 and 4. 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment for that 41 of Kurt Busch. Now the 48 of Jimmy Johnson is coming in. At the beginning of the day, they were too loose. Now they're too tight. So they're going to go back 30 to 40% on the previous adjustment to try to free Jimmy up a little bit. A 4-tire change for the 48, filling it up with Sunoco fuel, clean and away for Jimmy Johnson.
Well, the frantic shuffle of pit stops is complete, and Brad Keselowski reassumes the race lead. Kevin Harvick hangs on to the second spot. There you see the gap from first to second. That lead changes hands. You won't miss it. Well, maybe hang on. Might change hands right here. So new leader, Kevin Harvick, completes his recovery from the problem on pit road earlier. Into the second half of the race. That means we go NASCAR nonstop. Today, presented by Sprint.
Chase race number 1 at Chicagoland Speedway. We're 157 laps complete. Starting the day, Rusty Wallace, the big topic of conversation for you was chase racers must avoid mistakes. We've seen a number on pit road today.
Yeah, we sure have. I mean, big mistakes today. Here's Kurt Busch spinning, coming at pit road. He's had way too much rear brake, adjusted into the car and spins the thing out. Take a look at Kevin Harvick here, Brad. Loose left rear lug nut.
Boy, and he's been complaining all year long about this pit crew, and he gets a change and they make a mistake. We see Jimmy Johnson's crew. They rarely make mistakes. Coming around, slips on the hose, makes them late on the left rear tire.
And Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, it just happened. I mean, just a little while ago, Matt Kenseth comes in too hot. He spins out. Watch this. Doesn't hit anything. Got real lucky there, but these are all mistakes. They can't have these mistakes anymore. I mean, I've counted 7 of them so far today.
Those were just the mistakes that happened on pit road. Or some of the mistakes that you classified earlier, mistakes on restarts, not going. You say Logano has not been good today.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching Joey Logano's restart just now, and I said he's right there with Kyle Busch. He's got a good look going on, spins the tires, doesn't go anywhere, goes from second all the way back to 6th. Man, you can't have stuff like that happen.
Casey Kane was speeding. Your driver, Brad, broken shifter.
Yeah, broken shifter, and that's unfortunate, but it happens, but it puts you in peril. So not a lot of caution laps today, so you're going to have to be on your game. These mistakes will absolutely cost you a race and race opportunity today.
That is it from the Quicken Loans ESPN Pit Studio. Alan, back to you.
All right, Nicole, thanks. Brad mentioned not a lot of cautions. Just joining us, only 2 cautions for 10 laps today. 1 for debris at the 100-mile mark, and another when Ryan Newman had a left rear flat and scattered some debris on the racetrack off of turn 4 back at the 150-mile mark. Kevin Harvick out in front of Brad Keselowski by 9/10 of a second, with Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kyle Larson rounding out the top 5. Keselowski is about to, Keselowski and Kyle Busch have led the most laps today, equally, 46 apiece. Jamie McMurray led a lot in the early going before popping the wall with the right side of his car. Jeff Gordon has spent a significant amount of time in the lead today also. And now this long green flag stretch just shy of 100 miles without a yellow flag. Thought might have had an opportunity for one a minute ago because Ryan Newman had a little issue over in turn 2. Apparently another left side problem on the 31 car, but he came back around to pit road and has made a tire change and continued away.
Yeah, it does have Newman a couple of laps down though, so what it looked like kind of started out as a promising day for them has gone south.
Carl Edwards also just put a lap down by Kevin Harvick. Well, this 4 car has had speed each and every week across this summer for a guy known as the closer. Closing out the wins in the last month or so has been the thing for this team. Now Harvick, after having his problem earlier in the race today, we'll see if he's in position to close this one out and open the chase with his 3rd win of the season.
Well, a new team starting out this year, they got to win early, and they've had a fast car. Really from the start of the season, they've had a fast car. Probably should have racked up more wins than they have, but those growing pains, even though they've been fast and maybe some of the things that have kept them out of victory lane, maybe they've got some of that behind them now that we get to these last 10 races.
Yeah, and talking to Harvick, he wasn't too upset about that. I think he'll be much more upset if they don't take some of these opportunities and turn them into victory in the chase, but he felt like they were solidly where they needed to be.
Like what Brad Keselowski said to us when he visited with us on Friday after qualifying was rained out. He feels like you may have to win the Homestead finale to win this championship. You got to get there first, but being able to close it out and score the win could be very important if you want to take home the big trophy. Kevin Harvick out in front of the MyAFibStory.com 400 Chicagoland Speedway, race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. But still a lot of racing yet to go today. 97 laps left in this one. Beautiful look down on this speedway from our aerial coverage presented by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. We're just past 250 miles. Still got a little less than 150 to go. And Kevin Harvick out in front in a long stretch of green flag racing. Small details to catch up on. Brian Vickers was tagged for speeding on pit road on his green flag stop a minute ago. So there you see him being put a second lap down by leader Kevin Harvick in the 55 there, Vickers. So some troubles on that round of pit stops there for Brian, put him even further behind. Carl Edwards has just gone a lap down to the race leader in the last 30 laps or so. So he's now out of sync with the race lead. And next up for leader Kevin Harvick to put a lap down will be Casey Kane, one of the chase drivers. About, I don't know, 20 car lengths ahead or so of Harvick in the blue and white number 5.
Harvick says once he made his way to the front, it's been a torrid pace that he's set, and he's able to take this car from the bottom to the middle to the top. Just looks like it's kind of a driver's dream right now, Jamie.
I think it is. He's been really quiet on the radio, and this is kind of a surprise because I talked to his crew chief, Rodney Childress, for quite a while this morning, and he said they were just okay. But because practice was under cloud cover and it was much more cold outside and on the track, he said, we're not sure what we have. So they adjusted for what they thought would be the temperatures today, and they hit it right. The last stop, a wedge adjustment, and that is it. Kevin is happy with the 4.
All right, Jamie, so there's Casey Kane just ahead of Harvick. Winner at Atlanta on the last race on a 1.5-mile track configuration. But going a lap down here on this long green flag run.
There's some damage on the right front fender of Casey Kane's car. I don't know if that happened on a restart or on pit road.
Yeah.
Pretty significant there. That's in the wrong direction for performance, too, so that might be what he's struggling with.
And especially at these kind of speeds they've been running here this weekend, that'll really show up. So Casey Kane's championship effort off to a bit of a difficult start. Still time to try and get a caution, get it fixed, get back on the lead lap, but for now, Kane a lap down in 17th place. Denny Hamlin will be next up for the race leader to catch and try and put a lap down. Denny racing there with Austin Dillon in the 3 for 15th and 16th place. Dillon, the last car on the lead lap.
Hamlin had reported that he thought earlier on that he may be having some type of engine problem. I don't know if that has hurt him quite a bit and they still have something like that, or if it's just a handling issue, but certainly has dropped off the pace from earlier when he was running in the top 10.
Look from Denny, back to leader Kevin Harvick. And Kevin has 1.7 seconds on Brad Keselowski, who runs in second place. 74 consecutive green flag laps in this one right now. We'll explain the cause of the caution in a minute. First, the leaders are on pit road here with 85 laps to go, Vince.
Kyle Larson has been one of the surprises of the day. He's not a chaser, but he's certainly running like one up into the top 5. It's going to be a 4-tire change, no chassis adjustment, a little snug. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon thinks he had a bad set of tires that time. They're doing everything right. The car is good. 4 tires and track bar. The 4 of Kevin Harvick. 4 tires and the car's better. Dave?
The 2 group is going to go back on the air pressure adjustment they just made. They'll take 4 tires. The car got too loose off the corners for Brad.
There's your race off pit road. Everybody pretty well holding serve in the top 10. And Kevin Harvick remaining as the race leader. Free pass car is going to be Casey Kane, going to come back around. Cause of the caution, some of the foam pyramids between the steel wall that faces the racetrack and the concrete wall out back have fallen over. And that needs to be adjusted for safety's sake in case a driver should hit the wall there at the kind of speeds they're running. So that's the reason for yellow flag number 3 as we go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint. As you see in NASCAR Nonstop, Brad Keselowski with a second pit stop under this caution, gives up 3rd position for it. Dave?
Maybe they had a tire that they thought they had left loose on the left side, so they came back down, changed all 4, made sure all 20 lug nuts were tight on the 2 car.
And I correct myself, Dave gave up 2nd place for the pit stop. We'll check his restart order in a minute. Our ESPN in-race reporter, Kevin Harvick, is the race leader.
Kevin, Dale Jarrett, you good to talk?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I made mention a while ago, it looked like you had a car that was a driver's dream to drive there. Is there anything that you could ask anymore of this car right now?
No, these guys are doing a great job on our Jimmy John's Chevrolet. It's a fun racetrack to race on, and we talked before the race, you just got to wait and see when the track rubber's up. The groove moves around constantly, and ours isn't perfect by any means, but it seems to be better than everybody else's. So we'll just keep working on it and hope we can close it out here as the race goes on.
All right, Kevin, thanks for talking.
Switch is right.
Kevin getting the 1 to go signal. And the field will double up behind the pace car for a restart here. Now, we've seen something interesting on the couple of prior restarts that we've had involving the outside lane.
Yeah, it sure doesn't look like that there's grip there or the opportunity to get going. Now, a lot of these times we've seen where it's been a driver that just had 2 tires, and it's really been difficult. We've seen him lose 4 to 6, 8 spots. It's going to be interesting to see now, though, that everybody has 4 tires. Will that change, or is this going to be an issue throughout the day?
So after 1 lap on each of the 2 restarts we had prior, that's where the guy that restarted 2nd wound up, and even on the initial start.
Yeah, this after 1 lap, so it's been a pretty tough go on that outside front road. See how Jeff Gordon can handle it.
Yep. So Jeff ends up restarting 2nd for this restart that's coming up. That'll be with 81 laps to go.
All right, man, just dig in here. I know it's not going below we want. We just got to fight for everything we can right now. Kevin's good, Brad's good. That 42 is good. We're just going to do the best we can with what we got. We'll keep trying to work in here to get it better. Yep, 4.
Brad right now is behind after the extra pit stop, back in 16th place for the restart. Kevin is to Jeff Gordon's inside, and the pace car's off. Here we go.
Here, you mentioned Alan, he's in 16th. He had to restart behind all the lap down cars and everything too, so he's much worse off than that as far as track position goes to the leader.
And as we talked about in this opening round of the chase, the challenger round, eliminating risk or not taking unnecessary risks. You're back there in the traffic. The risks aren't all yours to decide.
Yeah, that's not a risk that you want to take. That was a mistake that puts you at risk, and that's something that you're going to have to minimize. And that's what everybody's worried about, is racing your way out in this first round. That's what you got to be careful of.
Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch trying to overcome spins coming to pit road earlier. Back there in traffic. And what a rally for the Richard Petty 43. Eric Almirola now up into 5th place, racing Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson on either side of him.
Yeah, a lot of brackets had this car dropping out after the first round. I think they're on a mission to prove everybody wrong on that one.
Yeah, I spoke with Eric the other day. He was very excited, very optimistic because of the last couple of weeks. Felt like they had found some things and had gotten their program the best that it's ever been. And he felt like that they could make it through at least this first round, if not further.
One of the many teams that came here and tested at Chicagoland for this chase opener was the Richard Petty Motorsports team. Remember, in 2014 NASCAR rules, you use tests by organization. So every car in the organization can come test when the organization chooses, but you can't split them up and go different places.
And he's one of those drivers, Eric Almirola, that's utilized this high line quite a bit today. And he seems to be able to make it work better than some of the others that did it early on. His is kind of stayed with him, and he's moved forward throughout the day, trying to take this 4th spot away from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And protecting the rear flank from Jimmy Johnson there, running right behind him.
So restarted 13th, 8 spots in a short amount of time. That's getting it done. Rusty talks about how you got to go on these restarts. That's a perfect example of going forward.
So from almost a lap down, saved by a caution earlier, now to being in the top 5, Jamie. Nice run for Almirola.
It's been a really good day for him, and he says his car is really good on the long run. The longer they can run, the better his car is. When I talked to Trent Owens this morning, he said they're so thrilled to be here as Jimmy Johnson ducks to the inside. And he said, you know, our goal is just to make it to the second round. It's hard to beat these guys like the 48, but they didn't expect to be running up here, up front with this team. That's how serious they are. And oh, by the way, you mentioned it, Alan. Eric ran on the Nationwide Series race yesterday and said he gained a lot of knowledge that really helped to apply to this car in this race today.
Gave up the spot to Jimmy Johnson there, but running in 6th, the car you saw these leaders pass that was slow on the apron was Ryan Truex, who has coasted back around to the pit lane and turned his car into the garage. We stay under green. But Jeff Gordon didn't fall back from 2nd place, stayed in 2nd, but couldn't stay right with Kevin Harvick on that restart.
Haven't seen anybody right now that can stay with that 4 car. He's got it going the way that he wants to.
A lot of racing yet to go, though. Harvick out in front at Chicagoland as we go NASCAR Nonstop, presented by Sprint. Good fight for 2nd. In the MyAFibStory.com 400, Chicagoland Speedway, race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Quick reminder, go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. What a story Kyle Larson in that 42 is. You're watching race Jeff Gordon for 2nd place. A crash in practice on Saturday in the first of the 2 practice sessions. Had to go to a backup car. Started last in this race. And now runs in 2nd spot.
Yeah, look at him go on that outside.
Yeah, Gordon had done his best there for a few laps to hold him off. He kind of saw him coming and decided that this wasn't worth it at this time.
So Larson to the runner-up spot from the back of the pack as we check out our biggest mover in this race. Brought to you by Sprint. Well, given what I've just told you about Kyle Larson's day, you know who it's about. So I'll just tell you the other part. Stay connected to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data. You share that, plus unlimited talk and text for $100 a month. Learn more at sprint.com/datashare.
Yeah, the Ganassi boys seem to have found something this week, because Jamie McMurray's car was really fast in the beginning of the race when Kyle Larson was trying to make his way up from the back. He got into the wall a little bit, but he's still up in the top 10 running 7th. Kyle Larson looks like he has a car that might be able to challenge Kevin Harvick.
Jimmy Johnson's got a fast car in this segment of the race, too, just passing Dale Earnhardt Jr. there for 4th.
Yeah, imagine that they found it and changed it. Yeah.
How many people were asking, were they going to even be a factor in this chase?
Well, they did a good job. They adjusted it kind of from a loose to a tight. Now they look like they've got it back to what Jimmy likes as a driver right now, and they made a good pit stop last time that gained him a spot there, so all good things happening for this 48 right at the moment.
Got him on your grid in the final 4?
Honestly, no, I do not.
I'll give you a hint. I do. I never gave up on this team. I'm telling you, when somebody wins 6 championships, you can't count them out.
Yeah.
I don't care what state they're in. Go into the chase.
In this case, it's Illinois. It's been this way the last 3 years.
And one of the reasons I did was just to kind of shake things. You know that pretty much you plan on them being there. But I think this 3-race deal could be very interesting, and it might affect them more in that scenario, and we'll see.
Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, left side, racing for 8th place and changing it. Remember, we saw Denny way back in danger of being lapped before the caution a little bit ago. And Kyle trying to recover lost ground. Kyle leading 46 laps on a couple of occasions earlier in this race, but slid through his pit box on a green flag stop at lap 148 while running 5th, came out 13th, and has been trying to make up that lost ground pretty much ever since.
It looks like where we saw the 18 and the 20 up front, well inside the top 10 and inside the top 5 some, that the 11 now has made some better adjustments to their car to keep up with the racetrack in a little bit of changing condition.
We're running hot here. 260, 290.
Which instantly draws all of our eyes to the neon tape on the front of the grille screen on that 11 car.
Well, he's kept that team on edge a couple of times today. He's talked about the engine. He thought maybe something was wrong. Now we're hearing he's running hot. These things will really make you nervous with this 3-race elimination. Yeah, he's running plenty good enough right now to be solid enough through these first 3, running like he is today. I mean, he's going to easily make it, but boy, if he blows up, sure make it tough.
So that's Denny Hamlin, who's just passed Kyle Busch. Now Kyle back to the 9th spot. Trying to diagnose what he's got going on there.
Yeah, that's a comment that, hey, I'm telling you what the car's been doing and thinking about the changes that have been made on it are maybe not the right direction. So he's telling the crew chief good information that, hey, maybe, my information is not the right way to go. Try something else.
So Kyle in 9th place there, Dave.
And really just stuck there right now. You can hear his comments, not real happy with it. The left rear quarter panel also received some damage when he got together with Casey Kane. They haven't had a chance to really do anything with that on their pit stops. That may be causing part of his issues.
Well, that tells us where the damage on the right front of Kane's car came from also. Just behind Kyle Busch. A pretty solid recovery for Brad Keselowski, now up to 10th place. And Joey Logano and Kurt Busch racing for 11th and 12th, pretty hard also.
Pretty impressive he could drive up into the top 10.
Inside the final 100 miles at Chicagoland, NASCAR Nonstop today is presented by Sprint.
Mistakes. That has been the word of the day so far from Chicagoland Speedway for some of our chasers. Starting with Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, Kurt just entered pit road, had too much rear brake adjusted in the car, spun the car out, didn't hit anything, but a big mistake.
Not a perfect stop for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, see the rear tire changer come around, step on the hose, slip, fall, knocks the gas can out of the gas man's head. He spills a lot of gas. Very slow stop.
Matt Kenseth pulling a page from Kurt.
Yeah, just about the same thing. Comes down, spins on entry. I don't know what's going on there, but these guys get in hot, have mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 car has to come back down pit road. Comes down twice, loses a lot of track position. Even though he's got a fast race car, is making it back up. It's still a mistake.
Yeah, loose lug nuts in that car.
Speaking of coming down pit road twice, that's what happened to Kevin Harvick very early in the race. Had to make 2 pit stops, but making the most of their day, Harvick has bounced back.
Yeah, he really has, Nicole. He's done a good job. His car is the fastest out there, but that last shot we just saw, he came down with loose left side lug nuts. A big problem today with these teams.
But who's led the most laps today? Kevin Harvick. Who leads right now?
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Stout.
But a lot of issues today. So let's take a quick tally of who we've had issues with so far. Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, we've had Kurt Busch having problems, Kevin Harvick having problems, Casey Kane speeding, Logano, Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Brad K. My gosh, I've got 8 chasers that have had problems and making big mistakes today.
Let's go back to Alan.
And through all of that, a pretty good race for the lead starting to shape up, Nicole, between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson, who started last, has gotten up to second, and is reeling in the leader.
Seems like this run, the 42 car, is just a little better than the 4 of Harvick. But he's got they're both occupying that same line. And I've watched Kyle Larson trying some different things the last, 5 or 6 laps, knowing he's going to have to find another way to pass Kevin Harvick other than that high line.
Yeah, and most of it's been down here in 3 and 4, where they are right now. He dives down, get the air on the nose, see what kind of run he can get, hoping that he can get there just enough to maybe put some kind of slide job on Harvick. He's making it tough for him, though.
31 car in the picture there, Ryan Newman had to make an extra pit stop. While everybody else stopped at lap 182, Newman was just in at lap 206 under green, so he is 3 laps down, trying to get one of those laps back here and on fresher tires than those race leaders. A.J. Allmendinger in.
Yeah, probably going to start seeing this come to pit road. Some drivers and teams try to pit a little bit early, get a little bit of an advantage for the time that these new tires can make up. They'll pay the price at the end possibly, but could help them at the beginning if things should work out right for them.
38 laps from last pit stops for the race leaders. We've seen them all pit shortly after 40 laps today, about 45 or so, the range we've been seeing.
And this could be an opportunity for the 42 to take advantage of the 4, but with that 31 in there being kind of, well, now Newman's kind of backed off there a little. Might have just been a situation that he didn't get the good run off of turn 2. But I was thinking if he got up there messing with Harvick, that the 42 might could go wherever they weren't. I know that Kyle Larson will take that first win anywhere, anytime, but that would be a real heartbreaker to know that you did it the next race right after the cutoff.
Oh, yeah.
He had a good enough season to get into the chase in the top 16 and had a problem at Michigan with the crash and then playing catch up and having to basically win to get in. They just couldn't quite do it.
He's trying to find a way around Harvick for the lead, Vince.
And, just what you guys were talking about in regards to getting that first win, and they were very disappointed they did not make the chase. But I saw Kyle before the race today, and he said, well, we're here to be a spoiler. If we can win some races in the chase and maybe spoil it, get attention that way, that's the best we can do right now. That's what we'll go for, and making a good run at it right now. Earlier, he said, I can't wait until that high line rubbers in a little bit more. So they've been definitely keeping an eye on riding the rim today. Whether or not it comes to him the way he hopes remains to be seen, but certainly something they've been waiting for and hoping for.
Now you watch Newman, you think, well, why is he in there mixing up with the leaders? He really needs to try to pass Kevin Harvick to get one of these laps back, because he's not going to get a free pass or some kind of a wave around to get on the lead lap. He's going to have to race his way by these guys to try to get at least one of these back.
No, the opportunity would be there. If he could get by Harvick, then they could take a chance and stay out for a wave around, which would get them back to just 1 lap down and get them in another position. And if they got lucky with a caution right after that, it could work out for them some way. So you got to still race. Can't give up now.
Newman in 25th place, and again, 3 laps down, trying to get one of those back from the leader here. Newman started second, ran as high as second in this one earlier, but had a left rear tire go down. They had changed just right side tires on a prior pit stop. The pit stop at lap 69, then at lap 99, the left rear went down on Newman's car, and it did some damage to the machine, and they've been trying to recover ever since.
And I'd have to think, if I were the 42, even though they're really fast here, this situation right here, this happening, where you've got that car, I would go on and get on the pit road. A couple of laps maybe is all that I need on those fresher tires, to where by the time Harvick hits, I may cycle out in front of him.
Yeah, the one thing that Chris Heroy, the crew chief of the 42, is looking at is lap count. Right now, there's 42 laps to go. You don't want to be out there and run too many laps on that last run either. So it's a balance thing. You do want to try to get in early, but you don't want to have too many laps at the end of the race.
The window's open, Vince.
Hasn't been the kind of day Matt Kenseth was hoping for. He's pitting from the 14th position. 4-tire change, going to make a chassis adjustment again. They just quite haven't had the handle on the car that they wanted today.
Again, Matt trying to recover from the spin coming onto pit road back at lap 148. Here's Denny Hamlin in. We're at the point now where these cars can make the scheduled distance on fuel from here. Jamie?
And remember, Denny Hamlin reporting that he's running hot. They'll probably take some tape off of the front of that car. Said he's overall just too tight. 4 tires, and they'll fill them up with Sunoco fuel.
And while you see Hamlin stop left side of the screen, right side of the screen, he got him.
Like I said, or you can just pass him on the track.
Yeah, he's good old-fashioned way.
So Kyle Larson leading this race for the first time today. Casey Kane's in, Doc.
Yeah, they repaired that damage on the right front fender, made a chassis adjustment. The car was really tight, much better now after the damage you got on pit road leaving a little bit ago.
Greg Biffle, who's had a tough day, in. Dale Jr. also on the pit lane. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon all coming in, Dave.
Not a great day for Greg Biffle right now. They'll give him 4 tires and an adjustment. It's really not bad this run compared to the others. They're not going to make large adjustments for Greg at this point.
Dale Jr. saying the car, the air pressure builds up, gets a little bit free. Now they put wedge in once before and the car got too tight. They came back and took wedge out. Minor air pressure, and that's all. Vince.
The 42 of Kyle Larson really likes his car. They did not make any changes on the previous stop. No changes on this stop either. Just 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for the 42. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick has led the most laps today. Happy with the car. Didn't say a thing on the radio. 4 tires is the call for the 4. Getting it done. 12.7.
Joey Logano coming in. Jamie McMurray also on and off the pit road. Jimmy Johnson. And now here comes Brad Keselowski onto the pit lane. Long stop, yeah.
Joey Logano saying he needs help, rear grip on exit. They came in and made an air pressure adjustment for Logano. What a comeback. There's the adjustment again from 28 starting spot with possible top 10 finish. Dave.
After re-pitting and re-entering the race in 16th, Brad Keselowski passed 9 cars. There were only 7 remaining ahead of him. With a final adjustment here, can he get to the front again in this 2-car? It's been strong all day. He's lost some front turn, was a little free off turn 2. They'll make adjustments for him in 4 tires. Jamie?
Eric Almirola restarted last time on the outside for the first time. Heck of a job. We have caution on the track as the 43 makes his way down. Too tight in the middle, and there it is for the 99. Let's go back to Allen.
Looks like that left rear tire is down on the 99 car.
Yep.
And probably dropped some debris out on the racetrack with that, so caution out here right as that cycle of green flag pit stops was about wrapping up. So quick change of the left side tires for Carl Edwards. Oh yeah.
Very similar to Ryan Newman's problem he had earlier.
He had his hands full there. Great job to keep that car going straight.
Eric Almirola going behind the wall, Jamie?
Just as I was calling that pit stop, he reported in on exit. Guys, we're blowing up. We're blowing up, and we need to go behind the wall. Tough break for the 43. Had a top 10 run going, Alan.
That's a heartbreaker, Jamie. This team really ran good today. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, boy.
Man, he had done such a great job of driving this race today.
Now, it's just after pit stop, so you wonder if something got hurt there. But what a heartbreak for Eric Almirola, running 6th before the cycle of pit stops started. So the headline story of this caution, besides the problem for Carl Edwards that brought it out, was Eric Almirola's car being pushed behind the wall. Jamie?
And Alan, he was running 6th at the time. You said you felt great about your chances going into it. Any indication?
No. I've never been so heartbroken, ever, to be running that good. And I think we were running 6th with just over 30 laps to go in the first round of the chase. And I've been saying it all week. The only thing we can't do is have a big mistake, and we did. So Doug Yates builds awesome horsepower, and this is probably the first motor failure that we've ever had with this 43 team in the 3 years that I've been here. So, but I had a lot of horsepower while it lasted. We were really fast, and just so proud of Trent Owens and all the guys on this Eckrich Ford team. Our Ford Fusion was really fast, and I was excited. I've been telling people all week, all we have to do is run in the top 10 these first 3 weeks, and we will guarantee ourselves to move on to the next round. We got a tall feat to get over now. This has certainly put us in a huge hole going to Loudon and Dover, but it's okay. We made the chase, and we're excited to be here, and we'll go to Loudon and try and rebound.
Hey, keep your head up. It's not over. You have 2 more shots. Eric Almirola, tough day for him.
And the guy in the white shirt, black hat there, left of the frame, Doug Yates, already huddled over the information being downloaded from the onboard engine management system there, and certainly wanting to figure out what happened.
Yeah, there's no doubt Doug Yates and his people are some of the best in the business at having that reliability and making good power, and he takes this very, very personally when something happens. He knows that what a great effort was put forth there.
All right, so while Eric's left to wonder what happened and Doug is left to figure out what happened, drivers behind the wheels of these cars are left to figure out how they're going to handle these last 50 miles or so.
Everybody did a good job there. It's going to be right in our wheelhouse. It's pretty good for 30 laps. That's about what we'll have to go.
Well, it's pretty good, but the 42's he's just hauling them out. 10-4.
I like that view, man. You having fun?
I think so.
Man, good for you.
He's having the most fun right now.
Well, since this chase format has been installed, driver not involved in the championship hasn't taken home the trophy for the opener.
He's got the odds against him, but he has a great car today.
So we just heard from the guys in second and third. Now, if you look at that car number 2 that's found his way up into the mix here, don't count him out just yet.
Brad Keselowski overcoming the extra pit stop earlier at lap 184 when they had the loose wheel.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Up to this race, about 26 races, they didn't have much to lose, most of these other cars. Right now, Kyle Larson is the only one in this group that doesn't really have anything to lose. These other guys do. I mean, this restart might be pretty aggressive, but I think that Kyle Larson can take advantage of the fact that they can't really push the issue right here.
His body's got himself in it.
1 to go, so we're going to get the green with 30 laps to go in this one. And we have seen restarts. Been a theme over and over and over. Be aggressive, be hairy, be exciting. And trying to figure out if some of those guys in that outside lane are going to go 3 or 4 wide here in turns 1 and 2. I'll bet some of the drivers are trying to figure that out also.
Let's see about the 4 and the 42. What lines are they running and where are they good at?
42's up against the wall both corners. The 4 is more flexible. Later in the run, the higher he goes. There at the end, he was battling the 42. He wasn't running nearly as high as the 42 was, but they were both similar up there.
Brad Keselowski trying to size up the competition.
Yeah, about the only thing could have been higher than Kyle Larson might have been a fly or a bee in between him and the wall. He was using all the racetrack, but it was good for a lot of speed.
Got to be a pretty small fly, too.
It's going to get good here, though. We've got fast race cars, and they don't have to worry about conserving the tires any at all. Get all of it you can right here, right now.
See the restart order coming at you. Quick, 3 wide or 4 wide?
Oh, I think there'll be 4 wide somewhere, but at the front, I think we do get 3 wide quickly.
The Busch brothers with some contact. Now they're scattering out 3 and 4 wide as Kurt has to try and regroup and regain momentum. Hamlin and Kenseth split Johnson.
That could have been big for a lot of people.
Wow. Watch this.
Yeah, and Kurt, the big loser here. He lost 6 spots from that contact.
But he's still got a race car.
See, Kyle kind of slid up. He thought he was going to
Pretty
get
wide on the
enough
bottom
room
here,
there.
on the bumper. Hang on to it. Keep coming. Got to run them. A bunch of them coming here. Inside, clear right there. Got the 10 with a run coming inside. 50.
You know you've lost your momentum on a track like this when you're having to grab a gear to get going again.
Yeah. And Kurt Busch had done such a great job of rebounding from that spin and penalty that he had earlier in the race to get himself up near the top 10, which would have been a tremendous day coming back from all of that. That really cost him.
Jimmy Johnson able to get a spot back on Matt Kenseth, one that you saw him give up a minute ago. Now back after Denny Hamlin for 7th place. Tell you what, Kyle Larson got going on that restart.
He didn't mess around. He knew what he was doing. He's been in this position in a cup race to where he was the leader this late in it on a restart and in that situation, but obviously studied it and knew what he needed to do. Where we'd seen him run high as a run went on, he knew that he had to block that bottom lane from Harvick or Jeff Gordon getting that position.
Well, the big wreck narrowly averted on the restart, and now down to 25 laps to go. Can Kyle Larson upset the big boys and get his first Sprint Cup Series win? From 10th place, Clint Boyer into the wall in turn 1, bringing out the caution. Pit road open here. Any takers? Matt Kenseth, 9th place, looks to be the first one to break out a line of the 17 cars on the lead lap. Vince?
Well, they've just been trying to get a handle on this race car throughout the course of the day. Just a little bit too free, not enough grip. You see the wrench in the right rear, chassis adjustment, right side tires only.
And Joey Logano comes in, able to put 4 tires on Joey's car. Said, I'm fast enough, the car is just as tight, and I can't roll the center, so we need to come in and make an adjustment. If I can just roll the center, I've got speed up off, we might have a shot. The 5 car said it is just plowing 4 tires on Casey Kane's car. Very, very tight.
You see Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Martin Truex Jr. also in. Truex got the free pass on the prior caution to get back on the lead lap. Stewart got back on the lead lap by not having pitted yet when the caution came out right at the end of the green flag pit stops for the Carl Edwards problem. So Clint Boyer running in 10th. Had troubles in turn 1. All the makings of a right front there. NASCAR Nonstop today presented by Sprint.
MyAFibStory.com 400 at Chicago is brought to you by MyAFibStory.com. Watch a NASCAR legend's moving story at MyAFibStory.com. Goodyear, chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. KFC, the world's best chicken. How do you, KFC? And Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Well, a beautiful 62-degree afternoon here at Chicagoland Speedway, and race number 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cups come down to a final 18 laps. Race that Kevin Harvick has led the most laps in, but now finds himself running second to Kyle Larson.
They were yelling a little bit on that last one. Just be sure you don't get yourself in trouble laying back there. I also need to make sure that you don't go early like you did. Yeah, 10-4.
Driver games on restarts. What'll it be this time? Kyle Larson looking for his first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win, right of the screen in the red and white. Target 42. Kevin Harvick looking for his third win of the season and an early shot across the bow in this championship.
Harvick was ready that time.
That would have been Larson by a skosh.
Oh, that's great, but by running side by side, here comes the 2 car.
Clear, shut the door.
Washing out. Here comes Harvick to Larson's inside. And here comes Keselowski to make it a 3-way race for the lead. Going to try and split the middle.
That's the only spot open.
3 wide middle. 3.
Wow, what a pass.
I tell you, that's some risky racing for the guys that have a lot to lose. Kevin Harvick and Keselowski, they're still going for it.
Lock the game. Win and you're in.
Brad Keselowski to the lead, up the center. Now Harvick trying to find a way to regroup, and Jeff Gordon trying to join the fun.
Larson with a big run. Harvick kind of slid up there.
Here comes Jeff Gordon with a big run to the outside.
Larson got really sideways right there.
But remember, this is for second place. Keselowski's gone.
Well, he's gone, but you want to get yourself in that second spot in case the caution should happen to come out. Just behind these guys is Denny Hamlin, who we complained about his engine a couple of different times. They're in 5th spot.
Well, that was spectacular.
Unbelievable.
Kyle Larson back to second for the moment. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon still there fighting for it. But Brad Keselowski has checked out after the restart with 18 laps to go. When they got racing side by side for the lead, Keselowski joined the fun and then split it 3 wide up the middle to get the number 1 spot. Absolutely the moment of the race. Brought to you by Dairy Queen, Brad Keselowski.
You know, sometimes as a driver, things just present themselves to you. You're sitting there wondering which way you're going to go. There was nowhere else to go. Why not go to the middle? What a pass.
Wow. Fantastic. So Keselowski, after getting behind earlier at lap 184 with an extra pit stop that dropped him all the way back to 16th place.
I want you to watch Larson now. He is hanging it out.
Oh, trouble front stretch. Danica Patrick into the wall. And there's your I want to be second in case the caution comes out.
Yep.
What happened now?
That's a 17 hit me.
Well, Danica on the lead lap in 18th place. racing the 17 of Stenhouse.
Yeah, it might be pretty quiet at dinner tonight.
Come on down, let's try to get the fenders away from it.
And so the caution flag waving in this one inside the final 10 laps.
Get the bear bond ready, guys.
You see Danica's middle 3 wide on the outside of Stewart. And got into Sten. I don't know if she moved up into...
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that angle if she just thought that she was clear there, or if Stenhouse maybe had to come off the wall a little bit. He just got into the right rear quarter panel.
Or if Danica's car just started washing up.
Yeah.
And Ricky was there.
Yeah, these things do crazy things in 3 wide situations. Sometimes they go really good, like Brad Keselowski found out in the middle, but
we might find out again here in a minute.
This is interesting. Can they pit now? Get tires?
Well, Larson is.
Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah, I thought maybe somebody would. We'll see some of the other guys at the back. 2 Bush brothers are coming in with Casey Kane, and Matt's pitting again.
They're in 11th and 12th. Kenseth went nowhere after the pit stop. He restarted 11th. He's running 15th here. Vince?
For Kurt Busch, remember, he was a lap down earlier today when he spun entering pit road. They've been working on it, getting it a little bit better. Chassis adjustment and right sides for the 41, Doc.
And every time Casey King comes down pit road, the car gets better and better. Been plowing, been tight, getting better, keep putting tires on it, keep getting closer toward the top 10. Dave?
Kyle Busch said on the last run that it was the best it'd been all day. This time they're going to put some tires on, maybe take some tape off the front though, because it was running hot.
All right, so why not?
Yeah, most of those drivers that came in there make adjustments, put tires on. Not a lot to lose for them. If you're able to pick up a couple of spots, those points may mean something at the end of the Dover race.
Interesting twist here, too. Remember, we talked about Ryan Newman being 3 laps down earlier. Well, they've worked it to where he just got the free pass, and it's going to put him on the lead lap.
I told you back when he was racing those guys hard, you can't give up. You never know what will happen in this crazy business.
I never give up. Here he goes, back on the lead lap.
Wave arounds, and now the free pass, and that'll put Newman in 19th place with a chance to gain some ground and make the danger zone a little less significant than it looked earlier in the day as he heads off to New Hampshire next week in the second race of this 3-race Challenger round.
Yeah, if he can dodge a few of these spinning cars we're going to have on this next restart, he'll be picking up a couple more spots.
Well, Kyle Larson had the lead, lost it, now has a chance to get it back again, Vince.
With his team owner, Chip Ganassi, and I know it was disappointing not to be in the chase, but what would it mean if Kyle could get his first win here today, Chip?
It'd obviously be a big, it would be a real feather in his cap, Vince, and one in the team. We've won some races. We won 2 races in last year, and we're not in the chase. So, I mean, but that's the rules, and we all know what the rules are going in. So we're happy with that. We're happy with the performance of the team. We're just trying to get better each week.
Where do you need to get better?
I'd say in the last 10 laps of the race.
We're going to find out if they can do it right here, guys.
Both of Chip Ganassi's cars in the top 10. Kyle Larson 2nd, Jamie McMurray 7th. Look at that.
Yeah, and they both, these Ganassi cars have run up here all day long inside the top 10, led laps, been very, very strong.
Now, talk about being in the middle of it. So Larson's got to find a way to stay with Brad Keselowski, who has obviously shown blazing speed today. He's still got Harvick there, going to be to his inside flank, and he's got Gordon behind him.
That's 2 times right there just to warm the tires up. They almost hit.
You know he's going to be, if he can get this thing restarted good. We've seen it be a little bit of an issue on the outside there. Limited experience. Can he make it happen here?
And they'll be all over each other, playing all the air games also.
All right on that quarter panel if he can stay there.
6 laps to go. McMurray all the way to the bottom. Gordon looking high. 4 wide to turn 1.
Yeah,
Larson's smoking.
I think that's from the contact when they were warming their tires up under caution. They actually ran together.
Yeah. Keselowski gets clear. The smoke goes away on the Larson car. So now he's racing Jeff Gordon for second.
Crossing over.
Yeah, that was quite a move. Jeff Gordon thought that he had that spot done easily. Oh, Larson's sideways right there. There's just no give up and a lot of talent sitting in that 42.
Want to know whose car ate up that windshield tear off, a piece of trash, or whatever that was we saw blowing up turn 2 there a minute ago. Not on either of these front runners. Still racing for second spot. Keselowski's running away. And then this. Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth with fresher tires trying to make some ground as fast as they can.
Oh, that's close.
I'll tell you, Kyle Larson is just not going to give up, is he? And look at Gordon with the crossover.
Oh, into the wall. Oh, there, though. That might cost him that second spot.
Take his line away. Come on up.
So Jeff Gordon gets second. Larson slips back to third. Brad Keselowski's coming to see the white flag.
Got this rebound for this 2 team after having to come back for a loose lug nut.
And we're in the final lap. A lot of folks talked about Hendrick versus Penske for this championship, the speed and the number of wins that those 2 teams have amassed this season. Here's the driver and team that won the most races in the 26 to get into the chase, coming to win the opener of the championship. Just as he did in the year he won the title, Brad Keselowski wins at Chicagoland.
His teammate blowing up like a checkered flag, but he's going to finish 4th.
That's where the piece that I saw of trash wound up lodged. We just didn't have a chance to go back and look at it with all the great racing.
Good job there, bud. Great job. We love you guys.
I don't think he's willing to stop till he makes sure that was the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's right. How about focused?
Now his 5th win of the season.
Awesome effort, guys. Thank you.
And again, 3 wide up the middle to take the lead.
Yeah, he certainly earned that, no doubt.
Brad Keselowski, our Goodyear Superior performer today here at Chicagoland. A star-spangled celebration after winning for the 2nd time in 3 years the opening race of the chase. Have that other flag to go with it too. You earned it.
He sure did, boy. I'll tell you what a move he made for the lead. 3 wide up the middle.
That young man has nothing to be ashamed of today.
Wow, what an effort he put forth there.
Jeff Gordon.
Now that means a lot right there.
Yeah. like a, hey, think about this next time we're racing.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. And thanks for racing me the way that you did. You know, that was great racing.
Yeah.
Definitely in mutual respect right there.
Well, what a finish. Let's dig into it post-race. Vince?
Well, it certainly was a thrilling one between these guys at the finish. What was the conversation there with Jeff about Kyle?
Oh, he just was giving me some advice there, and he was pretty proud of me. I'm sure there were some things I could have done differently on that restart, like he was telling me, and I'll definitely know for next time. Man, I was so close. I didn't need that caution there. I was just cruising out front, and then we got that yellow, and then I had to battle Harvick really hard there, and then that allowed Brad to get by both of us and really ended our shot at a win there. We had one more shot there the last restart, but just didn't have enough for Brad. He was really good around the bottom. He's about the only car that I thought could get around the bottom all race long, and I had a lot of fun ripping the wall. I ran inches off it the whole race, and finally got into it there battling Jeff, but had a really good target Chevy. Man, that was for a backup car, that was amazing. This really shows how tough our team is and how hard they work at the shop preparing great primary cars and backup cars, and just hated that we came up short, but happy about the speed we had in our car. And once again, thanks everybody at the shop. Thanks to Target, all their partners. Just thanks everybody. Thank you, Chip and Felix. Jamie has been a lot of help to me this week, and it's just been a great team effort all week.
Started at the back, drove it to the front, and did a lot of thrilling in between, Alan.
Yeah, he did.
I can bet you that in about 2 years or 3, when Jeff Gordon decides to retire, he'll give him a little more advice. He's just not going to, don't need to tell him much, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Brad Keselowski has won the opener in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Victory Lane today presented by 5 Hour Energy. And the champ from 2 years ago has started off this championship quest the same way he did in 2012. Parked in that very spot.
Keselowski didn't have to win today, but he did, starting from the rear on 2 occasions, as far as I could tell. How in the world did you do that?
Not really sure. I'm going to have to watch the ESPN replay to figure it out, but obviously we had a great car. Miller Lite Ford Fusion was fast, and these Fords have really come together here for a strong chase run. And this is Ford's first win here at Chicago, so I'm happy for that, but man, that was a crazy day. I'm not really sure I know everything that happened. I'm serious. I'm going to have to rewatch it, Dave. But obviously it finished up well for us. And we caught a little bit of break when that yellow came out in the middle of the pit cycle. Got us, I think, from 8th to 4th. So we jumped a few cars. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but I'm glad to be here.
Lap 249 restart, you're 4th, and then the seas parted. What did you think?
I saw Kyle and Kevin racing each other really hard, and they were aggressively side drafting, and just waiting for an opportunity to strike, and it came, and the car stuck, and just everything came together.
Spotter Joey Meyer said you made a liar out of him today. How so?
Well, when you start in the back, a lot of people don't think you have that great of a car, and I knew we were pretty good. And I don't like starting in the back, don't get me wrong, but I'd much rather be good in a race trim, and we had a great car. Paul Wolf, the whole 2 team did a great job, and man, it's next 2 weeks are going to be a lot of fun, knowing that we don't have to worry too much, and we're going to move out next to the sprint, is it contender round this next?
I'll call it 2 for now, but what does it mean to you to be automatically in already?
It means we're going to drink a lot more beer tonight. We're going to have fun with it. That's what it means, and just really proud to be here, really proud of my team, and see the Chicago crowd when we made the passenger lead all on their feet. That was awesome, Dave, and these fans are great. I want to say thank you to them and Sprint and everyone that makes this series possible. What an awesome day.
Home game for the sponsor. Brad Keselowski makes him proud. He advances to the next round automatically with a win, convincingly, here at Chicagoland. Alan?
Back-to-back wins if you count his romp last weekend at Richmond. So Brad Keselowski, the early leader in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup because of being the #1 seed, now doesn't do anything but add to that.
Yeah.
And of course is instantly on to, yes, the contender round. next. This is the challenge around the first 3 races, and he's automatically through to round 2.
I think he's just established that he's the guy to beat right now. I mean, he's just so strong, that team, the Team Penske. Logano had a really tough weekend, all weekend, but just steadily got better and better and better.
And the one that got hurt the most today, Eric Almirola, with that engine failure that dropped him 23 points from the cut line, which now becomes 12. Let's go back downstairs to Vince.
Kevin Harvick led laps and thought for a while maybe he was going to be the guy in victory lane doing the celebrating. Tell us about the risk versus reward that you guys were dealing with there in that battle up front.
Yeah. Well, the 42 was better than us. He passed us the run before and was able to get track position and restart on the bottom. And on the restarts there, for whatever reason, I was tight those last several restarts up on exit, so I had to kind of go into defensive mode. And obviously, Kyle wants to win a race, and that's how you're supposed to race. And everybody's going after it pretty hard. So fun day. Proud of all my guys on my Jimmy John's Chevrolet for the job that they did, and solid start to the chase.
5th place for Kevin Harvick. Jamie?
Really good day for Jeff Gordon and the 24 team. But Jeff, going back to that battle at the end with the 42, how much fun was that?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I was having a pretty good time watching him and Kevin go at it there in front of me, and I didn't know if there's what was going to happen. I thought for sure there was going to be a wreck, but that's just 2 guys that are wheeling it. And, really proud of Kevin Larson, man. What a great effort! Such a young talent, and I really wanted to see him win that race because I like him, but I didn't want to see those other guys win it either. But then we had a couple of restarts, and our Drive to Hunger Chevrolet was really solid. The whole team effort was extremely solid, and that's a great way to get started, especially with restarts like that, to come out second. Brad's really strong, and Joey strong on those short runs, and we had him beat, I think, prior to that. I think Kevin may have had, well, maybe Larson too, had us all beat prior to that, but still, top 3 or 4 about all day long and come home second. Couldn't be more proud of this Drive to Hunger Chevrolet team than that. And I want to say thank you to every name that's on the hood of this Drive to Hunger Chevrolet that are helping us fight hunger.
All right, great start to the chase for Jeff Gordon. Let's go over to Doc.
And likewise for Joey Logano, 28th starting spot, and you finished 4th, but you really dodged the bullet the last 3 laps. Tell the folks at home what happened.
I got lucky, actually. I got a nice big piece of debris right on the grill right at the end, and brought my car to life. It's amazing how much more these cars turn when you can tape them up like a qualifying run, and was able to get another spot because of it. But there's no more water left in it, and whatever fluid was left was going to come out of it at the start-finish line there off of 4, and it was just blowing up. And but just the right timing. Another lap, it wouldn't have been good. But overall, it's just a tough day for a Shell Pennzoil team. We were able to kind of fight up from where we started there, but wasn't quite as good as our teammate. And Todd made some good calls, and we were able to get there at the end. Just glad I had the best oil in this thing to make it last.
Joey Logano, a piece of debris helps the handling, but really hurt the engine, Nicole, but he comes home 4th.
Thanks, Doc. So race 2 of round 1 comes your way next weekend. We headed to Loudon, New Hampshire for tickets to that event and other upcoming races on the schedule. Go to NASCAR.com/tickets. Wow, what an afternoon at Chicagoland Speedway. Gorgeous day. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, and did they need it on those final restarts. So what we learned today, Brad Keselowski, he's really good. Eric Almirola, and a little bit of trouble. Is there anyone else in between that maybe has you raising an eyebrow?
Well, there's one guy that I was pretty happy with, and that was Denny Hamlin. I'm looking where Denny finished 6th. He ran that nationwide race yesterday, got a little experience about what to do and what not to do. He was a pretty good surprise, but I really felt bad for Eric Almirola.
Yeah, I do too.
The guy was so good, Brad.
But I'll tell you what, Eric Almirola is an excellent short track driver. We're going to Loudon. I think he can get right back in it. This car was really strong today on the 1.5 mile. He is talented on the short tracks. I don't think it's over for the 43.
What about Jimmy Johnson? We've been talking about Jimmy Johnson for a few weeks now. Does he have it? Are they still off? Well, today he didn't finish in the top 10, and we were expecting a lot more from him. Do we still think he's off, or is this still just a fluke?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They did just enough to be, they were around the front most of the day and kind of mediocre at best. They're still in the mix, so it's hard to say. I just don't see the raw speed, I don't think.
Tell you what, the guys, I did not see what I needed to see out of Jimmy Johnson today. 1.5 mile racetrack, Nicole. He's usually really, really good. He wasn't good today. Now he's going to Loudon, where the team's okay but not great.
But Dover's a great track.
His saving grace is Dover, Delaware. That's it.
wasn't just Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just kind of there.
Yeah.
With the and Casey Kane, same thing, with the exception of Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, both those Hendrick cars, though, they come into racetracks over the next couple of weeks, especially Dover, that they can heal up. So it's not over, obviously.
Well, let's talk to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Vince.
His Redskins won, and he finished 11th, so I think all in all it was a pretty solid day. But I know you had your hands full several times. How would you assess race 1 of the chase?
We had a terrible Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday. Our practice wasn't good. I wasn't fast, and we were just really, really concerned. I was super concerned. Steve and the guys changed a lot of stuff in the car last night, did a lot of work, stayed up late, and they put a great race car on the track today. We were running in the top 5 and should have finished in the top 5. I didn't do my job on them restarts there on the inside and just gave up a few spots. Tires beat us. A couple guys got by us on them tires, and we gave up 3 or 4 points there. But if you'd have told me this morning we was going to finish 11th, I'd have took it. But during that race, we was running a little bit better, and I got a little greedy on that. But if we weren't good Saturday, so as much as I hate giving away 3 or 4 points there at the end of the race, I didn't think it was going to be this good. So proud of my team, great stops. And, when we can't be on our best, this is what we need to be able to do, and get in there and get good finishes, at least in this round. We got to get a little bit better. As the round's gone, the average finish has got to drop. But in this first round, the average finish is 12 or so. Get it done.
Well done. Dave?
Vince caught up with Roger Penske. He's made it to victory lane, surveyed the troops, congratulated everybody. And you asked me what I thought. I was impressed. What did you think?
Well, I think it just shows how strong this team is, and all the guys back at the shop preparing that car, and Brad's unbelievable drive there. Cool when he got to the back of the pack, but worked his way through it. I'll tell you, that Ford Fusion was on fire today. It was that Miller Lite. I couldn't believe it to see him go between those guys. The thing that happened, it looked like that with the other guys fighting, it gave us a chance to get some clean air, but a terrific day for us, for all our people in the company, and I just want to thank all the fans for the support. But we're on to the next round, which is key, and I'll tell you, the finish by Joey was unbelievable too. So great Ford day, great Penske racing day.
Roger Penske gets Ford to victory lane for the first time at Chicagoland. Jamie?
Kyle Busch, pretty good day. At one point yelling, woohoo engine. You guys brought something new here. So what's your assessment of that and your expectation moving forward?
Well, first off, I think we had a really good day early on. Our car was great early when the track was green, when we were out front. Felt really good. I mean, sometimes 2-3 tenths faster in the field, but then just as the race kind of progressed, more rubber got down, the more we kind of backed up a little bit, and then we got back in traffic, and from there you're just you're fighting demons, plenty of them, aero demons. So just real impressed with the way we worked on it all day, and we kept trying to make it better. And even though we were struggling along about 10th-ish, the guys never gave up. Pit crew was awesome all day, and can't say enough about TRD. Guys did a great job this week, this month, this year, and they've been working really hard. And this week it showed. They brought a new package here this week. So, I'd like to say that, we could run a little bit better. We get our cars better. I think that's a possibility. And, we do that. These guys are in for a worrisome final 9 weeks.
All right, optimism from Kyle Busch as we move on to Loudon.
Jamie, thanks. And as the Penske teammates celebrate in victory lane, both of the captain's cars finishing in the top 4 spots today here in the Chase opener. And looking ahead, of course, Brad Keselowski winning at New Hampshire back in the July race weekend there. And we'll look to add to the list of drivers who've won the first 2 races in the Chase. That's happened 2 of the last 3 years. Brad is actually the exception to that a couple of years ago. Nationwide Series race first, Saturday night at Kentucky, 7 Eastern on ESPN News, and then round 2 in the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup next Sunday from New Hampshire, the Sylvania 300 here on ESPN at 1 Eastern Time. Thinking ahead to New Hampshire by reflecting back on what happened today, and I think of the roller coaster day, the people that had ups and downs and fought through it back up again, and some of them really pulled the rabbit out of the hat to come up with minimal damage on the day.
Yeah, they sure did. Even our leader, or our winner today, he had his problems along the way, so it was interesting to see who could rebound from that, and we had a number of the Chase drivers to be able to have some mistakes, which we said you couldn't have, but able to rebound and keep themselves right in this. But Loudon is going to be just as intense and probably more crazy at the end than what we saw here today.
Yeah, and we talked about there's more than one way to make this first round. That's to be solid or win. I was really surprised to see some of these guys taking chances that they did, especially on those restarts. When we saw Brad Keselowski go at the middle to take that lead, that was risky. We saw Kevin Harvick racing Kyle Larson with nothing to lose. I mean, that's kind of frightening, but they raced hard. They really wanted to try to get that pass to the next round and get that win. I see some great racing on the horizon here.
I come away from this just thinking about that move with 16 laps to go, where he went 3 wide up the middle. The great fight put on for the lead with Kyle Larson and Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon, but Brad Keselowski reinserting himself into that fight for the lead and then going boldly 3 wide up the middle to take the top spot. That goes down as one of the moves of the year for me.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And we may look back on this and talk about it being maybe the move of the chase to get themselves in that situation. But I think the other thing to take away from here is how much some of these other teams and drivers are going to affect the chase drivers as they move forward. We can see that Chip Ganassi's team's strong. Clint Boyer's always strong at New Hampshire. So a lot of things can happen through here. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, some of these guys have their seasons on the line. They need to try to get a win. Kyle Larson came that close to getting his first win, but boy, did he drive hard. That's going to be fun to watch him the rest of the year.
So next Sunday, a little miles, short track style racing at New Hampshire, the Sylvania 300. Expecting a lot of rock'em sock'em, pushing and shoving there, especially when we get down to the late laps. That's next Sunday here on ESPN at 1 Eastern. And again, the Nationwide Series race Saturday night is on ESPN2 from Kentucky Speedway. And lots more still to come. More post-race coverage, a wrap-up of today's event on Sports Center. Ricky Craven, as always, up at our ESPN headquarters to help break it down, plus to catch you up on all of the day's news, including what's going on in football land. Brad Keselowski, the winner today at the first of 10 races to decide who this year's champion will be, taken by the guy who was the #1 seed coming in. Brad Keselowski, the winner today at Chicagoland.